up on web snappers. My spider sense is tingling. 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 Tingling.
Spider sense tingling. Spider sense tells me I'm in for some trouble. Spider sense tingling.
My spider sense is picking up trouble.
Something's turning my spider sense on.
My spider sense.
My spider sense is tingling.
Anybody else's spider sense tingling?
Welcome to Walloping Web Snappers, a Spider-Man podcast where we dive into every Spider-Man cartoon ever made. I'm Derek.
And I'm Doug.
And is your spider sense tingling?
What was your first clue? The voice, the hair, or just the way I make you feel?
Ooh. We'd like to take a quick moment to thank our spectacular patrons, Bo, Carl, Katie, Jason, Zoe, James, Keith, Cody, Toby, Hamish, Blake, Jace, Jojack, David W, David A, Russ, and Christian.
Love the way they make us feel.
Ooh, yeah, because we love how money makes us feel. Penultimate episode again.
Yeah.
of the spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
For the second time. Wow. Never thought we'd get here.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, this is our, again, among the last of our spoiler-filled revisiting of the spectacular Spider-Man. 2 episodes left. It's very sad. I don't know what else to say other than I think there'll be a lot to say about this episode. So maybe we should just sort of jump right into it because I think it'll be a long conversation.
Let's do it.
So the episode we were talking about is the Spectacular Spider-Man Season 2, Episode 12, entitled Opening Night.
The Vault will soon be the pinnacle of ultra-maximum security incarceration. Put a supervillain in here, and trust me, he's never getting out.
Music to my ears, Osborn. Now that we're finally putting this reprobate behind bars, I don't want him seeing the light of day anytime soon.
Hey, just remember, I'm only here because Normikins asked me to test the vault security. So if you're watching, and I know you are, Pickle Puss, don't get any ideas.
Where is my puck? Where is Harry Osborn?
Working on it. Oh, hello, Gwen. Hey, it's MJ. Have you seen Harry?
It's Pete. Message me.
Hi, Petey. Just a little reminder about the play. Since Mark, can't be here, I really need a friendly face in the seat I saved you next to my parents.
Hello, Mr. Allen. Mrs. Allen. I see Liz's boyfriend hasn't arrived.
I must play the puck myself.
Or Hobie could do it.
How did the webhead do it?
With guards wrapped up all neat and tidy, I help. Or herd, my dear friend Spidey. I'm in a rhyming mood tonight.
So you just stopped by to gloat?
Well, I was in the neighborhood, so how could I resist tormenting all the crooks, thugs, and hoods I put away?
I love these guys. Ha! Someone should give them their own show.
Jonah, you can't seriously be rooting against Spider-Man. He's our only hope of regaining control of the prison. Well?
I'm thinking.
Oh, boys. Is Spidey really the best dance partner available?
Is a chick here?
Brilliant deduction, Sherlock.
What was your first clue, Spidey? The voice, the hair, or just the way I make you feel?
So, Goblin wasn't the only sprite to use the vault for mischief tonight. But if Spider thinks Cat evens his odds, Gobby'll open a few more pods.
Okay. What's going on?
The Goblin's your savior. You owe him a favor. Spidey's trapped in the prison. Put him out of commission.
The synopsis per IMDb is Spider-Man volunteers to test the security system of a new prison. Yeah, sure, that's going to go well. The Vault. When the Green Goblin releases all the inmates, Spider-Man is hunted by his greatest enemies and must work with Black Cat and her father to contain them.
Whoa.
The original air date was March 17th, 2009. Happy St. Patrick's Day internationally. And November 18th, 2009 in the US. So this did skip a week after subtext for some reason. But then I think this episode and the series finale were aired on the same night in the US. So kind of makes sense. Our original coverage of this episode was our number 70 on November 17th, 2020. This episode was written by Greg Weisman. We know him very well, obviously, as the co-creator of this show. Directed by Michael Goguen. This is the final credits for both of these guys on an individual episode. Obviously, Greg Weisman is the showrunner, so like he's still gonna work on the show to the end.
Yeah.
But this is his last scripted credit, his last actual script credit. And Michael Goguen, this is his last directing credit. Goguen had also directed multiple supervillains in an episode, like the episode Reinforcement and Probable Cause. So he knows well how to direct episodes with a lot of people doing a lot of things, I think.
Lots of people doing lots of things.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I remember, I'm pretty sure when we went through this last time, it was like almost a surprise. It felt like kind of surprising that Greg Weisman was writing this episode. This was his last scripted credit and not the finale. And I do think part of that is just the complexity of this one. But going through this again, I think it makes a lot more sense. We'll talk about it, but it actually makes a lot more sense to me, I think, that Weisman is writing the actual script for this. Because I do think that this was actually a much harder nut to crack than I think any other episode of the show probably was, based on some of the interesting ways that it's that it, you know, does the Shakespeare stuff.
Well,
so
yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, this is the performance. This is the night of the show. So it does make sense that he would write this one.
Yeah. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Speaking of talking, Hobie speaks. We finally have Hobie Brown speaking.
Wow, finally. What payoff?
Yeah, I know. And they even sort of fake you out at the beginning of this. Like, they still carry through the gag for the first half of this episode. But Hobie Brown does in fact speak. Hobie Brown does in fact have a voice actor. And that voice actor's name is Charles Duckworth. He has appeared in 1 or 2 episodes of a couple dozen TV shows like Buffy, Cold Case, Phil of the Future, That's So Raven, King of Queens, All Grown Up, Veronica Mars, a couple CSIs, and some other stuff as well. And after Spectacular, there's kind of a big gap in his acting credits until just a couple years ago when he appeared in a movie called An American King. And since then, he has not acted in anything. So I think it's less of a gap and more that like he's effectively just stopped acting.
Okay.
And for whatever reason came back for that An American King movie. So I looked at what he was doing, and I think he just works in music. I think he works for like a small music label. Okay. He does A&R and marketing. I think it's maybe a small music label distributed by Sony or something. So
good for him.
I believe it's the label that like Tito Jackson is signed to. Wow. So
look, you know what? I think that's a better gig than like, you know, these random guest spots on a lot of these shows. Because I was even looking at some of the characters he played. Like, yeah, it's cool that he had a credit in Buffy. Not a lot of people can say that. But he was just like one of the background vampires in like the Halloween special that no one liked or remembered very well. So like, you know, from like the season 6 one that's like centered on Dawn, like it's not even like the good one. So like, I think it probably makes sense that it's like, get into a different zone where you can actually make a bigger impact on like bigger music. You know?
Well, yeah, and for a small music label, like he's probably a very important person there. You know what I mean? Like he's finding talent. So it makes sense. Also, like, so interesting that I can't find a why or a how for this because he hasn't acted all that much. So like there are no Google results if you combine his name and Greg Weisman outside of like lists of credits.
Right.
So I don't really know how he ended up here. It is fascinating to me that somebody like Charles Duckworth is cast to be Hobie Brown when really only like Hobie only does Shakespeare. Like he doesn't really speak anything else in this episode outside of lines, right?
I mean, I'm sure the assumption was that he would then have the role in season 3. Like, I don't think that Hobie would go back to being silent again. I feel like now they've ended the joke, you know, so now that's his permanent voice actor.
It's still, well, yeah, I guess maybe. But it's still wild to be like, oh yeah, your first episode, you're gonna do a whole bunch of Shakespeare.
I see what you mean though. That is interesting. That is really interesting.
And I don't envy him because he's performing Shakespeare opposite Cree Summer.
Dude,
like,
yeah, seriously,
incredible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, it is an interesting ask, I guess, and it's, you know, the Hobie thing is always going to be a little bit weird because. Like, I like it, to be clear. I don't think it's like bad or anything. I think it's always been like a funny gag, and you have a school play, so it makes perfect sense to set it up and this to be the time you deploy him talking is a role in a school play. It is just sort of interesting because it's like, I feel like you would expect this to be a more meta type of thing. Like when he speaks, he has like the voice of some major guest actor you would recognize, like someone whose voice is really recognizable.
Or in general, he would just sound unexpected.
Right,
you know?
right. And that's not what they go for.
No, it's very straightforward.
Ultimately, it's just like, no, he just like has a pleasant voice and he's a good actor and good at Shakespeare. That's it. That's the payoff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's really odd. That's kind of what makes me not super confident that he would then continue to speak in the show. Like, as weird as it sounds to say that, I'm like, who knows? We will never know.
We'll never know.
But yeah, that's Hobie. Excited to finally talk about Hobie speaking.
That's nice.
The other person that we are introduced to here is Walter Hardy, aka the Cat Burglar. And he is voiced by James Remar. And I was like reading his just like biography, kind of, I guess. And it is like truly the perfect sort of what would be fictional account of a kid who's just like, I'm going to give acting a whirl. And if it works, then great. And I'm going to make a career out of it. But if it doesn't, no big deal. Like, and then it just worked. Like he gave himself like a timeline of like, you know what? I did some acting in school and that was kind of fun. So I'm going to give myself a couple years. And if I can make it work, great. Otherwise I'll pivot and do something else. Like, not necessarily like dreamt of being an actor his whole life. I don't know. I just was really entertained by like how that story played out. It felt like fiction.
That's so funny.
But anyway, this guy's in a ton of stuff. A lot of times he plays villains, or at least very early on in his career, he was like constantly playing villains. One of his early movie roles was in The Warriors, where he played, I think like Ajax or something like that, who was not necessarily a lovely fellow. He's done a lot of like sci-fi fantasy stuff in general. He has a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Saturns, which is a very cool Lifetime Achievement Award, I think.
Yeah.
On screen, his longest running roles were as Dexter's father on Dexter and as Peter Gamby on Black Lightning. But he's also appeared in recurring roles on a whole bunch of stuff like Vampire Diaries, Gotham, Grey's Anatomy, Sex and the City, and plenty of other things. Recently, he's appeared again in the Dexter sequel series, the one that's called Resurrection, obviously as the same character. And currently he is one of the main cast members in the It prequel series that like just started as we record this, called Welcome to Derry.
Wow. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. Which I'm planning on watching. So I will be seeing James on my screen very soon. He has provided voice work for a ton of stuff, such as voicing Vilgax in Ben 10 Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, which is a role that actually Steve Bloom used to do. So I just think it's a fun connection.
I didn't realize he took that over because that's like, he's like, one of the big bads of Ben 10. So that's really interesting.
He likes to play a villain,
Good.
He voiced Black Mask in Batman, Two-Face in The Brave and the Bold, Silver Monkey in Beware the Batman, Tonrak in Legend of Korra, and many, many more. He also voices Executor Hideo in the Destiny game franchise and Captain Narville in Killzone 3. So doesn't do a lot of video game stuff, but has like major roles in the video games that he does do. And he's also appeared in like tons of movies, like tons and tons of movies, including the aforementioned Warriors, Windwalker, Fatal Instinct, Too Fast, Too Furious, Blade Trinity, X-Men First Class, Oppenheimer, Megalopolis.
What a weird array of movies.
Yeah. He just shows up and stuff, like he's a good actor and he,
from Blade Trinity to Oppenheimer. Like,
I know it is really funny, right? Like it's funny to throw Oppenheimer in there and Megalopolis a little bit too, because it's like self-important, even though it's not good. When like everything else is like usually some sort of sci-fi fantasy or like genre thing.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But I think he's good here. I mean, he it's an interesting position that Walter Hardy ends up in.
Yes, it's a really interesting use of the character for sure.
Right. So it's a very specific thing he's doing, but I think he does it well.
Yeah. It's he doesn't blow me away in the episode or anything, but I think he nails exactly what they're asking him to do.
Yeah, I think it would be hard for somebody to blow me away in this role in this episode because he's supposed to be so like reserved and introspective.
Yes.
Amidst a bunch of chaos. So
right.
Does the job.
Right.
Well, let's get into this because there is a lot of chaos.
Yeah, there is.
This one opens at Rikers Island Prison Complex with Norman Osborn sharing with J. Jonah Jameson that The Vault is the latest and greatest in containment cells. And as they talk, Captain Stacy arrives, and Jonah celebrates finally seeing this reprobate behind bars. And of course, if J. Jonah Jameson's saying it, that reprobate is Spider-Man.
Reprobate. What a word.
What's he doing? Why is they caught him? He's in prison. What happened?
Like it's a great opener for an episode.
Fantastic opener.
Really well done. Yeah. It's good. It's also just kind of neat seeing George Stacy, Norman Osborn, and JJ in the same room together. Like we've seen them interact, all three of them interact with each other, but I don't know that we've ever seen all three of them interact in the same room together. I don't think. I think technically they have been in the same episode together, but like actually just like the three of them talking. Like I think it's interesting. Just the idea that like these, I don't know, these adults in this universe like know each other professionally.
Yeah,
like this.
I think I've realized that I really like and appreciate when one of these cartoons, one, is willing to do that, and two, does it well. Because obviously like Ultimate Spider-Man has adults, but it's usually just like annoying sort of MCU-ish type crossover adult stuff.
Sure.
But 2017 does some really fun stuff with adults, and I wonder if this show went on for its full 5 seasons, if any of those episodes would be sort of a weird conceptual one where it is like primarily about the adults. I don't know. This show doesn't give me the vibe that that's what it's interested in, but it would be cool to see this show try.
Yeah, I think I think what this show's good at is establishing that there is history and backstory with these characters, even if we don't explore it. Like that these connections are established, that like all these adults that are in Peter's life also know each other, but for like completely different reasons.
Yeah.
You know, so which I think is always really fun to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our credits are Liz, Flash, and Jonah. What do you think?
Flash makes sense. Big play moment for him. This is like a kind of the culmination of his arc. I think Liz as well, if only because she doesn't get a credit in the final episode because there's not room for her. So this is kind of the last time she can have a credit, and it is still part of the lead up of her and Peter's the downfall of their relationship, I guess. So I think it makes sense for her to be here, and the play is a big part of her life. I think I think either George Stacy or Jonah could have fit into this slot. Because they're there throughout the entire episode for this prison storyline anyway. And I think
would Norman have been too much of a hint?
It would have been really fun if Norman was there. I think it would have been too much of a hint. And again, he's credited in the next episode, so you know I think it's like
that makes sense.
I think they're seeking balance. I haven't gone back and done it, but I think for next week's episode I do want to go back and look at like how many characters are credited how many times, because I wouldn't be surprised if the calculation for this one it was going to be either George or Jonah, and Jonah had one less than George, so they put Jonah in. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because it could go either way with them. But I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they check out. Well, inside the cell, Spider-Man taunts Jameson through like a camera. Like obviously there's a camera in there and he knows that these people are watching, because what we learn is that he's not actually locked up for realsies. He's locked up because he agreed to help Norman test the new vault. I feel like I had the same reaction the first time, and I don't remember what we thought or how much we talked about it or where we landed or what our general feelings were. But I had this thought again. Why is Spider-Man even agreeing to do this? Why is Peter Parker agreeing to do this?
Person on Earth. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
there is no benefit, right, to him. I mean, outside of him being like, yeah, if the prison vault is safe and secure, I as a superhero benefit from that. Like, there's no reason that he would be convinced to do this, I don't think.
I mean, I think the justification, what the justification is supposed to be, and what I think he kind of expresses in his monologue, is that it's like, if I can prove that I can't escape out of this, then that means that this vault really is actually going to be good for the supervillains that are frequently breaking out of prison, and that was going to help me in the long run. I can sort of see how he would want to participate in this. But like the idea that it's like, yeah, lock me up, guys. Nothing bad. Lock me up. Nothing bad going to happen here on the night of my girlfriend and many of my other friends' play.
Yeah.
Like, no. Yeah. Great timing. Perfect day to do it. Like, why couldn't he agree to do it on a different day? Why did it have to be the night of his girlfriend and best friend's play. Like, it makes no sense.
Right. It's weird, and I'm sure we talked about it a lot, so we don't have to like deeply litigate this again, probably. And I'm willing to just buy that for whatever reason he's doing it.
Yeah, it works for the narrative of it, but
if we're just gonna criticize Peter Parker, the character's actions,
yeah,
you are so necessary to this experiment. You have bargaining power, sir.
Right. But I mean,
he's also 16 and probably doesn't know that.
And I feel like we've seen him be in similar situations where he doesn't realize he has that bargaining power. I don't remember when that was. There was something in the first season, probably with the Bugle or something like that.
Yeah. He's also an idiot and we see that he thinks he can do all of this in one night. And he is fully confident, like, this is no problem. I will make it on time. And while we know he will never make it on time, he does not know that yet.
But, you know, like, relatable though, right? Like, I mean,
sure.
I'm bad
I think
at
that's honestly the
I
easiest thing to understand.
I always overestimate how much time it'll take me to do anything and how much I can get done in a night. Like, I think that's totally real. I still think it's like, think ahead a little bit, buddy. Like, this is like the one night maybe you shouldn't do this. But again, he's like he's 16-year-old. He's a 16-year-old, and I think he is a little bit overconfident sometimes. Maybe a lot of the time when it comes to Spider-Man stuff. And so I think that probably part of it is just like he probably wants to prove it to himself too that he can do it, you know? Like, it's very stupid, but I can sort of see that that's coming from his own like flawed like logic and ego ultimately driving him to do this.
It's beneficial. It's no big deal because I rule, and I will absolutely get to the play in time, and Liz will forgive me for everything.
And I do also see how he would just kind of immaturely want to just like stick it to J. Jonah Jameson, you know, like he knows that Jonah is going to be observing this and is part of this for some reason. I don't really know why Jonah is involved in this.
Well, and wait, we are under the impression that George Stacy knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man and that Peter Parker is aware of this. So not only is he sticking it to Jameson, he's doing George Stacy a favor.
That's true. Because we don't see, I do think that it's maybe to this episode's credit that we don't see how, and we don't ever flash back to how any of this was set up or who talked to who. We don't know who approached who. I can buy if George Stacy approached Spider-Man specifically.
Right.
And then maybe like afterwards in class, George Stacy said something sort of, you know, off to the side to Peter that like alluded to him knowing that Peter is Spider-Man and that he should like use his responsibility and his power to help criminals or something in the future.
Yeah.
That then Peter was like, does he know that I'm Spider-Man? Like, you know, also, I can see all of that stuff happening off screen that makes Peter kind of maybe not guilted into doing it, but feel like, yeah, I feel like I should do this guy a solid and do this. And Stacy has convinced me that this would be the right thing to do. And Stacy doesn't necessarily, since Gwen isn't in the play, he doesn't necessarily know that there's anything big happening at Midtown High.
I don't even think it's that. I think he would know that something big is happening, but I think the fact that George Stacy involved would provide Peter even more comfort that like, this isn't going to go longer than George Stacy said it would, because George Stacy knows that like something's happening and that's not like it should go smoothly. So he's going to make sure I'm out of here.
And it's not like this is going to be a big secret trap because George Stacy is a guy that like he trusts fully. So it wasn't. The only reason this goes badly is because of like completely like outside third party that no one even knows is around right now to do, you know, to be involved in this. So,
Right. So yeah, still a bad choice, but it's making a little more sense to me this time around.
Yeah. It's a bad choice for Peter to do, but I do think the show gives enough wiggle room that you can kind of
you can
figure
get there.
it out. You know, you can get there. And it's just too cool of a setup to like not buy into anyway.
It's
you know?
fun. It's ultimately fun. Yeah. Rule of cool, you know?
Right.
Here's the interesting thing. It doesn't go according to plan for a couple reasons. And one of those reasons is that outside, the prison is receiving a delivery from a woman who identifies herself as Selena Drew.
I love that little.
It has to just be Catwoman and Spider-Woman.
Oh, yeah, it's Selena Kyle and Jessica Drew. That's all it is. But like, I just because the show like doesn't do those types of references
usually
that often. So it's really funny when they do it, and the fact that like it's a DC character that's like, you know, the basically
the
Black
most
Cat
famous
was essentially
Selena in all of
right, and the character that like Black Cat was basically a ripoff of. You know, like let's be real, and then like. another, like the other famous like woman related to Spider-Man,
Yeah.
you know, being Spider-Woman. Like it's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I like it. It is very, very funny. But she shows up. She's in disguise. She is Selena Drew. And then after she gets through the gates is when she reveals to us, the audience, that she's in fact Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat.
Of course. So at Midtown, Mr. Devereaux is announcing 1 hour to showtime, demands to know where Harry is, which is troubling. MJ calls Gwen to ask if she knows where he is, and Gwen responds that she hasn't seen him all day. I want to pause really quickly because I want to talk about Gwen's bedroom, because I don't think we ever see Gwen's bedroom except for this one moment.
Sure.
Because we just get to it because she, you know, it's 1 hour to the showtime. She's coming to see the play. She's not there yet, right? So she's getting ready. She's in the same outfit she was in last week, but I like the outfit for this because she's going out to see a play for the night. So I think the mini skirt and, you know, high boots and stuff like that, I think look great. And her, you know, she looks good to go out for a play. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is her desk, because I actually think there's like a couple of like good like character beats in this. I think the big important thing that I think is
The one
obviously
thing I'm
intentional.
drawn to, probably.
Yes, is very intentional. Is there's a big framed photo of Gwen and Peter Parker together on her wall. Big frame photo. Under that photo, kind of hastily tucked under it, not framed, just tucked under, and it makes it look like it's hanging very loosely, like there's a shadow behind it, so it's not even like flush against the wall, is her Valentine's Day picture with her and Harry. Like her picture of you know, Gwen and Peter, the picture of Gwen and Peter is like very very pristine and well, you know, well hung, and then the one with Harry is just
Not
like
well
an
hung.
afterthought, not well hung, you know what I mean? And then the one with her and Harry is just like an afterthought, right?
Right,
I just, you know, I think it's just a nice, quiet bit of character storytelling that, like, Gwen also doesn't have her whole heart in this relationship with Harry.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's the main thing, but I do think it's also fun that she has like just a flyer for the school play hanging above her computer, like front and center as well.
Yeah, her boyfriend's got a huge role.
Yeah. And then this like weird, surreal, like unicorn poster that's next to it that's
Dude.
huge.
I love this
Fascinating.
unicorn. We have to have had this conversation before, right? Gwen is a horse girl, right?
I don't know if
She's
she's had
gotta
a
be,
conversation, but
right?
it sounds like it feels.
Or at
that
least
feels
was.
Right. It feels right. I mean, not anymore.
Is
but she
still
definitely
at
was.
home.
Right.
Gwen is like the girl that you learn like had a horse at some point. You're like, what do you mean you had a horse? How? Where? You know?
Oh, I bet like that was the thing. Like her mom rode horses, and that was a relationship she had with her mom and stuff like that. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
It's just the poster is so weird though, because like it's not just like a unicorn. Like it's like the unicorn in it like is I don't know. It's like kind of a misshapen sort of drawing in it. I don't know. I just find it kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are things I want to call out. What is the thing that looks like it has like a little wig on it sitting
I
on
was
her
going to
desk?
ask you the exact same thing.
That's the thing that I can't figure out, because there's like, you know, these are like background things, so they're not heavily detailed. There's something that looks like a tape dispenser that's next to it, and there's like, you know,
Half
her
a pair
pencil
of
holder with
scissors.
like half a pair of scissors. Yeah. And I do like the post-it notes that have like a peace sign and a kitty cat on her computer. Sure. But that I cannot fucking tell what that weird,
it's just like
doll type thing is supposed to be.
Yeah, it looks as if somebody made a doll with like an upside down Dixie cup and like a foam ball and like Barbie hair, because there's eyes on it. Like there are eyes drawn onto it. So I don't know.
Like, what is that riffing on? It's so strange.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like a weird thing that she made in first grade and kept forever for some reason.
I could see that, but then it's sort of like, but in real life, why did someone draw that? Like, I wonder if someone actually had something like that. Someone like they were looking at their desk and is like, that thing's weird. I'm going to put it on Gwen's desk.
Right. Yeah. How it ends up on her desk outside the universe is interesting for sure.
Yeah. I love the look of the Midsummer Night's Dream poster too. I think it's a really nice flyer.
I know whoever drew that was
beautiful
not fucking
drawing.
around. That horse.
Beautiful drawing of the donkey. Yeah.
Oh yeah, donkey. It's so beautiful. It
famously a donkey.
brings to mind a horse, a majestic horse, you know?
Yeah.
I know, it's so funny too, because even as I was looking at it, I was like, oh, that's so funny that like in a way Flash Thompson is like on her wall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kinda. Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's cute.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but the whole scene is only there just to make it clear that like Harry's been missing. He is not present in this episode at all, which is, you know, I think meant to give you the impression that he's the Green Goblin the entire time, which we know isn't the case. And we learn, you know, why in the next episode and everything, but they are keeping up the mystery. And I do like how they've interwoven the Green Goblin stuff with the play, because Harry being involved with the Green Goblin stuff in any way is going to affect it, because he is playing Puck, who's a very big character in the play. So if Harry's not around for the play, it's going to cause a lot of drama, right? And that's what they're playing on. I think it's really fun. We have Liz call Peter to remind him of his promise to show up. And of course he's not answering because he's in a fucking prison. I think it's also a really nice detail that like, she's even telling him like, you know, since Mark can't be here, referencing the fucking trauma that just happened like 2 days ago, probably.
Right.
She's like, I really need a friendly face to sit next to my parents. So not only is it like, I'm still hurting from my brother, I need my boyfriend on my big day, but also I have a seat next to my parents.
Are expecting you.
Yeah. So you won't just let me down. You will also let down my parents. Like, it's rough. It's rough. Right. The other thing I wanted to call out that I think is interesting is like MJ specifically mentions that Harry isn't answering his Osberry, which like we've heard referenced before. But I think it's important because then like there's like right after this, Black Cat specifically says she's using a stolen Osberry. And I don't know if it's meant to actually be Harry's, but at the very least, it like is, I think it's supposed to make you wonder how Harry is involved, or like, did he go missing?
Yeah.
Because I do think you could argue that that's a clue that he's not Green Goblin, because Green Goblin is using an Osberry, I think, in this episode. And if Harry isn't Green Goblin, which you know he isn't, it could have been like after he was kidnapped, he dropped his Osberry and Black Cat took it or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Harry thing is interesting because I know this happens shortly, but we also know that Norman and Emily aren't there.
Yeah.
And what's funny watching it now is like when you see it for the first time, you're like, well, of course Harry's parents aren't going to be there. Harry's parents probably wouldn't show up to anything. But then when you get to the next episode, you're sort of like, oh my God, all three of them were missing, which just like further fuels every time next week they swerve into a different person, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like any one of the three of them theoretically could have been at the prison.
Exactly, which is very, very smart. I think it's really smart they set it up. And it's also like, what in real life, because we know Norman was the Green Goblin, and we find out in the next episode that Harry was like kidnapped this whole time. What was Emily doing? Why isn't Emily there? Like, I think it's a really good question. Like, I really want to know what the plans would have been with her in season 3, because obviously we know that there's something up with her somehow, you know?
There's just simply must be, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it would be she's not there because there was some other thing going on, or if it is truly a combination of just like Emily Osborne's relationship with her family and the family dynamics. And so if Norman is not there, she is not there, or if it would turn out that there was also something else going on.
Right. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know.
We cut to the prison and Black Cat is bypassing the alarm. You mentioned this. She's using the stolen Osberry and her sort of Black Cat tools to break into the prison. And she jokes that like, oh my gosh, if it's this easy to break in.
What if it's Peter's Osberry? Because they also made a big thing about how he was given an Osberry by Norman.
Yeah. Honestly, it almost I kind of think it makes more sense that it would be Peter's, especially because Peter says he doesn't use it.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't even miss it.
Yeah, like they're making it, and it would kind of work.
Although,
it would kind of work in the direction that it's like.
Would she know to steal an Osberry from Peter Parker?
Not necessarily, but there's a million
ways
would
she
that
get it.
Like, but we don't know how she got this in general. Like, it's possible that she like looked up, because I think when Peter was introduced with it, I think it was still a prototype, and we don't know if it's been rolled out or not. So it might be something where she just like found a list of like how many prototypes have been made and like where they got sent to and who owns them. And like Peter is like, she's like, oh, this random 16-year-old kid who's not connected to anyone, I can just grab it from his locker at high school very easily or something. Like she wouldn't steal it from an adult because they'd be more responsible. She wouldn't steal it from Harry because it's Norman Osborn's son. Peter, theoretically, unless she finds out that he's Norman's mentee, which, you know, doesn't even matter at this point in the universe. Peter doesn't seem like there would be any reason not to steal it from him, you know?
Yeah, he wouldn't miss it, but I don't know.
It would be a weird coincidence.
It would be a
sure.
weird coincidence. I think it makes more sense for her to have stolen Harry's or to have found Harry's or something. Plus, I mean, for all the misdirects, it makes more sense for us to think that it is Harry's.
Yeah, or it could just be any random Oscorp
or any.
Too.
Yeah,
I do think it's intentional that they're making you question it by dropping like Harry has an Osberry, Goblin is using an Osberry, Black Cat has an Osberry. And Peter has an Osberry. Like they have made it a point to say that word, I think, frequently, to make you wonder and I think it's just, to create the chaos and confusion of the Green Goblin stuff ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jameson's watching Spidey in the vault. He celebrates that Spider-Man hasn't moved in over an hour. I do love like the shot where they're just like standing in this huge room full of screens and you just have Spider-Man just sitting there with like his arms crossed upside down all over every screen, like completely unnecessary how many fucking screens they have.
It really makes you wonder the first time you see that moment, like if he's even still in there. You know what I mean? Like he's standing so still that like in many other movies or TV shows, that's where you would learn that like, oh, he left a long time ago and somehow managed to like loop
I was
the camera.
Every time I watch it, I think that's what's going on.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the intention was, because then they kept back into it. He's sort of like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
That's a good point.
It's like, I literally have been sitting here thinking for a long time and haven't figured out what to do.
Right.
We also get a quick bit that, ends up being very important for next week, that Norman gets a phone call from Mencken and is like, sorry, I gotta go, business. We know that he's leaving to just suit up as Green Goblin, right? So
yeah.
Is
this, or was there stuff before that would have made us feel like Mencken was a possibility for the Goblin, or does it really kind of start here?
I think it starts here. I think it definitely starts here, because Mencken's been such like a non-existent character for the majority of the show. I think intentionally so. Like he'll pop up, but nothing he's done up to this point has had anything to do with the Goblin, I don't think.
Yeah.
Spidey does debate whether to surrender, and he at the very least does drop like, I can't be late for Liz's play. I'll really be in the doghouse.
He at least hasn't forgotten that's where he's supposed to be.
Right. They're just like, dude, isn't it like in an hour? Like, come on, what are you doing? Like, it's
Seriously.
definitely less than an hour at this point. Like, and also like, you don't get there the minute that it starts either, dude. Like you'd actually really
they
have
close
more, like,
the doors.
Right. You have more like 20 minutes to get out of here, really. But yeah, so he's thinking about that. But he hasn't figured it. Yeah, he is still figuring out what to do, and he's still just in there thinking about what to do.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to the school auditorium. We get a really funny bit where Sally arrives. There's like, oh, it seems like Liz's boyfriend hasn't arrived. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Allen. Interesting.
What is her problem?
She just doesn't like him. She doesn't like him. She hates the destruction of the social order.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, look, this is a mean thing to do, and obviously it's only going to like embarrass Liz and embarrass her parents, but she's not wrong. They should break up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, Sally is correct. Sally has been correct.
And I do think that like her goading all of this is like, you know what? Maybe Liz, for once, it's like the one time in your whole life you should listen to Sally is for this. Like,
I mean, there is
she's
some
right.
validity to like, Liz will not listen to me. Maybe her parents will.
Right.
Also required to point out, Liz's dad smoking hot.
Seriously.
Babe alert.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's just a hot family.
Truly,
really a hot family.
Beautiful family.
yeah. Just a family full of rich models, basically.
Seriously,
so,
that's right. Because this is also Mark's family, and
right.
Mark is like a ripped dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Mark was having so much trouble with money with gambling, but as far as we can tell, his family's pretty well off. But it probably was like a pride thing where he wouldn't want to ask them.
I think it's probably a few things. Yeah, I think the reason he even has money to gamble with as a high school student is because his family is rich.
That's exactly it. And then he gambles it away, and he's too embarrassed to tell his parents about it, and then gets deeper in the doghouse. Right. And they probably didn't even know he had a problem until he was arrested. Essentially, yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Gwen also is met by Harry's butler, Bernard. and she's like, oh shit. I thought Harry's parents are going to be here, and they're not. The butler is here instead. That's not a great sign, which we referenced that before.
Yeah.
I will say when you cut from Sally Averill to this particular Gwen design, they look exactly the same.
I know.
I'm very glad that her hair has changed in the next episode.
Yes.
But this should have never been her hair after the Valentine's Day episode.
Especially if they were going to be in the same scene.
No. You literally cannot tell them apart except for the actual clothes because their face is the same. They both have blue eyes too, don't they?
Both have blue eyes. At this point, Gwen is not wearing her glasses.
Yeah, they're truly just cut and paste design except for clothes, which is weird. I don't like that.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, whoa, I can't believe they made them this similar looking.
Yeah, it's very annoying. But it's fine. Her hair, she changes her hair just in time for the show to get canceled. Woo. Yeah. Backstage, Mr. Devereaux. I love how much of a fucking campy queen he is in this episode. He is freaking out more than any of the students are about this play.
I know the students have already figured it out. They're like, yeah, it's fine. We have a plan.
Right. And he's like the professional actor who's been on Broadway and shit. He's like, this high school production. And he is like, since Harry hasn't arrived, I guess I will have to play Puck. And all the kids are like, ew, no. We don't want this old teacher man to play like spritish imp Puck.
Right.
Or impish, not spritish imp, impish sprite Puck. That's what I'm trying to say. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we've gotten so little of Devereaux, but this feels like exactly correct. You know?
Yes,
that
it
like
does.
he would
I love
absolutely try to do this.
He's also like, I love that he's just a two-dimensional character in a way that I think works for this show.
Yeah, because I don't think he's ever meant to be, I don't think he, at least at this point, is ever meant to be like important or deeply consequential. So why not?
Right.
Play it up.
Exactly. Yeah, play it up. I love that. I love to do that with him. I love that he's just purely played for comedy in this whole episode. But
what if at some point he were like May's gay best friend?
I would love that. She has gone like
right. She's seen
his play, and she's seen him. Yeah. Aunt May. Well, should Aunt May be here? I feel like, because I know Peter's not in the play and Gwen's not in the play, but she knows Harry, and theoretically she'd go for like Peter's girlfriend potentially, right? Does it make
I don't think so, because I don't get the sense that I don't like. Has Peter ever brought Liz around? Have we ever seen him bring her around?
We've never seen May, and like Liz has been to his house, but like on the doorstep. We've never seen Liz and Aunt May interact. And I will say in the next episode, she doesn't ever even say like Liz's name. She like refers to like Liz and Gwen as those girls. Like, you know what I mean?
I also think Aunt May is a good caregiver and a good like parental figure, so she's not gonna like get too involved, but I think she probably doesn't, not that she doesn't like Liz, but I don't think she likes that Peter is with Liz, because she has known Gwen and Peter both for so long, and she has been seeing for a while what Peter is not. And so I don't think she's ever going to be mean to Liz. I don't think she's ever going to like actively try to break them up, but I don't think she is going to encourage the relationship by like supporting her at a play.
Cause she is kind of part of she kind of helps convince Peter to break up with Liz in the next episode.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. It's actually smart that she's not here. Yeah. She really would have no reason to be.
But there's also like, I think there's also a truth to the fact that like, because Peter also deep down knows that Liz is probably not his person, and that Gwen is, that he probably doesn't bring her around, whether he's doing it consciously or not. You know?
That's true. Yeah. I'm also thinking like, why wouldn't Aunt May want to go see a play? But I'm like, no, this is a high school play. This is like not like this. When you're a parental figure, or parent or guardian and you have kids in high school, you only want to go to school plays if you absolutely have to. And she is not obligated to, so she is not going to go to this fucking high school production.
Honestly, I think the reason she would go is none of the kids, and not even her own kid. I think it would be the fact that Mr. Devereaux is there directing it.
Yeah.
And maybe she could talk to Mr. Devereaux a little bit.
That would be the only reason. And then she's like,
wait, that's how they meet.
But then she's like, but then I'd have to sit through an entire Shakespeare play that's probably like 2 to 3 hours of these high schoolers putting it on, not
doing a great job. You mean she doesn't want to watch Flash Thompson do Shakespeare? What? No, I do like this is going on my fanfic shelf though. The night that she does go, and the reality that she does go, she goes because Mr. Devereaux is there, and this is her chance to like flirt with Mr. Devereaux. But it turns out like, oops, got the wrong reading, and then they become besties over the fact that wasn't it funny that you tried to like pick me up, but I'm a big flaming homosexual, obviously, and so then they become best friends, and that's how they end up, being buds.
I love that so much. I want the episode where Aunt May, Mr. Devereaux, and Dr. Bromwell all like hang out together.
Oh my gosh!
And, like,
wait,
and Mr. Devereaux,
I want a double date episode. I don't know who Devereaux's dating, but I want a double date episode of May, Bromwell, Devereaux, and whoever he's dating.
God, yeah.
Is there someone in the universe we know that would be a funny match for him? Do you think he would date Aaron Warren? Because they would know each other, or they could know each other, I should say.
I would love to see that relation. That would be a really hot relationship.
It would be, right?
I would love to see those two men kiss.
All right, so I would like to see the double date, and then I would like to also see the backroom fiction of just Aaron and Devereaux.
I'm really into this.
We cracked the case.
Yeah. I told you we'd have a lot to talk about with this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Peek behind the curtains. We were actually going to record this on a different night, and it got so late that we were like, we're going to talk about a lot. We don't want to rush this, right?
Yeah,
and it's because we had important things to talk about, like who would Devereaux date?
Exactly.
And why it's Aaron Warren.
I fucking that's such a good poll. I'm in love with this. Oh boy, getting hot and heavy here.
Somebody out there, get ready to be commissioned to make some art.
Look, I'm here for it. If you want to throw your hat in the ring for being the person who does the art, just let us know. We'll be here with the dollars. The reason that this whole scene is happening, we haven't even gotten to this part yet. The kids are like, we don't want our teacher, this big old man, to be playing puck.
Right.
So we are instead, like, I would love to see it, but I understand why these 16-year-olds don't want to see their teacher do this. So Glory's like, hey, actually, Hobie knows the role. I forget what theater it is, but like he'd done it at like a local theater already.
Yeah, she specifically says she's seen him do it. So this is a part that like he already knew, and probably why he. Well, yeah, I don't know why he didn't get it to begin with, but whatever.
Well, but I mean, like Mr. Devereaux is casting based on what he wants to see in the roles, right? Not based on what your previous experience was.
But do we know what Hobie was cast as?
Puck, because he knows the role. Oh wait, in this play. Oh fuck.
Because I'm not saying that he should get Puck because he's been Puck, but what did he get?
I mean,
if he is already somebody who acts Shakespeare, which is probably a big leg up against most of the high school students he's auditioning against.
Was he on the cast list that we screenshotted before?
He must have been, right?
What episode was that? I want to figure this out. Because the thing is, he has to be a small enough role that he can, ditch that role and play Puck very easily without it rocking the show. So it has to be a small enough role, or a role that like could easily have an understudy.
Let's see here. He was cast as... Oh, this is so hard to read. Is there like a like a PHIL? Here, it's 287 is what you're looking for.
Philostrate, I think.
Yeah, that looks like it could say that.
Yes. Yeah, that is a character. I don't. I'm trying to think how. Let's see how many lines he has, because I don't know what. I mean, he's not one of the lead characters at the very least, so it probably is a small enough role in this play, for him to. Oh yeah, no, this is actually a very small role. Like if you like look up literally how many lines he has, like I'm sure he's on stage, but he's not. He really doesn't have much.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I think it's a small enough role that they probably had they probably have one understudy, and that understudy just jumps in for Hobie's role. Cause he was only like 5 lines he has to learn or something.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So, but it is funny. I think that's funny then. What my headcanon is, the reason that he like didn't get a good role in this show is because in the episode with the auditions, he like gets interrupted by Flash.
Oh, that's right. His audition kind of accidentally was a disaster, I'm sure.
Right. And probably by the time he goes back up, like Devereaux is annoyed, and he probably is like, Hobie's probably feeling really frustrated and doesn't give a good audition. And then he ends up getting a not good role. And he's also but he's also like, I've done this shit before. Like, whatever, I'll be part of the show. He seems like he's pretty chill and a team player, so he probably doesn't mind it. But yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, his audition was fucked. Devereaux never really got to see what he could do. And this is his opportunity because he actually like knows all the lines already because he's literally performed it. So yeah. Makes sense.
There would be no reason to do this in the grand scheme of the show, but it would be so interesting to see an episode dedicated to Hobie. Or like dedicated to events of this show from Hobie's perspective, but wherein Hobie still does not speak. So like everybody speaking would be the people around him, but it's all following him. That would be really interesting.
It would. I mean, because like the little glimpses we've got into his life, I think are always really interesting. Like we mentioned it, like he's at the opera. He is going to the opera on Valentine's Day with his date and is like super into it. And like here, and this is the episode where we learn that like, oh, he isn't just in a school play, like he actually acts in community theater around town already. Right. So this is like an arts kid who's like he's very well rounded because he's a football player and he's like a big arts kid and theater kid. And I wouldn't be surprised if the more we got to know him, the more we'd learn that he actually is like this Renaissance man, and he probably plays an instrument or something like that too, you know?
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
I think it is a really cool experiment that they pulled off with him of making this character that feels like really complex and fleshed out and like interesting, but says no lines other than Puck's lines in this episode.
Yeah.
Like that is a really cool thing that they did. And like, I mean, we know that, but like when you actually think about it, it is really wild that they pulled that off with this character. Like, cause I really love Hobie despite like not really knowing him, but I feel like I know him really well.
Well, because it is kind of wild to give this much focus and development and like backstory, and all those words sound too much, but they're not for a character, you know, is not going to say anything. It just feels like a thing you wouldn't spend your time and energy on. So I'm glad that they did.
Right. I totally agree. Very cool. It's just another of many cool things this show does.
Yeah. I do like that Flash brings up the fact that that he's not only that Hobie has stepped in times of, you know, high pressure, but that he has stepped in when Harry has gone missing before.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing at all.
Right. Hobie's life is just, you know, picking up Harry Osborn's messes.
Picking up Harry Osborn's messes that he's better suited for. Like,
right, yes.
Hobie was a better football player than Harry because Harry needed to have a Green Goblin's formula to be good at it. And I'm sorry. I know that Devereaux was probably trying to be very inspired with casting Harry in this role. There's no fucking way that Harry Osborn is a good actor. I cannot buy that he's a good actor.
Is this also like, unfortunately, the story of Hobie Brown being upstaged by like a mediocre rich white kid?
Oh my God, seriously, right?
Like, is Devereaux casting Harry Osborn in a good part because he is Osborn's kid?
Jesus
I don't know.
Christ. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I do really like how disappointed and sad Devereaux is. Like, well, surely the muses didn't know I wanted to take the stage tonight. It's fucking Queen. I love him so much.
Yep, so good.
It's also just like he already directs professionally on fucking Broadway. Like, and he is like really wants to get in on the school play. Like, you know what it is? He is the director that has always wanted to be an actor, but has never been able to be a star, and kind of ended up becoming a director because he would never get cast in big roles, but and is always looking at these major shows.
Who's good at coaching, but not necessarily good enough to play.
Right. But secretly he's sort of like, but I want to be the one on stage. And he's always watching these major productions he's directing. And it's like, that could be me, but the producers won't let it be me. And now at this fucking high school, he has sunk so low that he's at this high school and sort of like, maybe this is finally my chance that I can go on stage.
It's never occurred to me that archetype could exist in that world, because it's very much an archetype in athletics, right? Is like the coach who's like, you know, was never good enough to like be the star player, but is like either an amazing coach or just like an asshole coach or whatever. It never occurred to me like that same dynamic could exist in this space.
Well, I mean, if you look at there's a lot of community theater that you can go to, and sometimes directors of those shows, because they have a lot more flexibility, because there's not like big producers or something for a community show, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will often put themselves in their play that they're directing, even if they really are not equipped to do it, or it's like way more work for them.
Sure.
And like, I've seen my share of shows where like the worst person in the cast is the director and he doesn't even know his lines. You know, I'm saying he because it's always a guy who does this.
I didn't question it.
Yeah. Like I'm thinking of a very particular experience relatively recently where it's like, yep, you're the director and you don't even remember anything that like any of your fucking lines. Truly the worst actor of this entire cast. You could have just cast another person and spent more time directing the show, because you clearly didn't have enough energy to actually fucking play the role, you know? Like that's 1000% for real.
That's even worse because they can inject themselves into the actual like performance.
But the second that you're in a place where there's like more stakes, you know, it's harder to just, it's harder to go, you know, on your ego trip. Right. You know, so Devereaux, I think.
Oh, he's such a small man in his actual world.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, Devereaux. You need a friend like May, honestly.
Yeah. She'd lift him up and just be like, you know, you play to your strengths, man. Like, think about how good of a director you are. Like that's where your strong suit is.
I also now can't stop thinking about the Devereaux Aaron Warren dynamic, because Aaron Warren is so fucking dry. Like, he's a queenie faggot a little bit, but also he's so dry. Yeah. So it would truly be like a dry, like sassy bitch and like a theatrical over the top queen.
It's like just like a sitcom setup. Like
right.
Like the way that they would snipe at each other, like their fights would be so fun to watch.
Right. Oh, it would be a sitcom about May and they would be like the main supporting players.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like it usually is in her place, but they're there all the time.
Yeah. I love the sitcom spinoff that we're writing.
The show is so inspiring, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we get to Spider-Man's escape, and it's actually a very cool one. So I'm excited to talk about this. So he figures out a way to leave the cell. And I don't know, like, why he suddenly was inspired, but I like his inspiration. He basically webs up the cameras so that they can't see what he's doing. He busts open a light fixture and then takes one of his web cartridges and the wiring from what is still a live light fixture and plugs it in there, which then explodes the web cartridge. And we know that the web cartridges have a lot in them. It is like a very condensed like liquid. So it blows up and covers everything in the cell. So there's basically a cocoon around the entire thing. But right as he's doing that, the people in the control room, because he covered the cameras, are like, okay, release the tranquilizer gas. So he blows all this web everywhere, covering where the tranquilizer gas would come from, which creates like this big bubble in his like web cocoon of tranquilizer gas. So then when the guards come to get him, they see that the whole thing is covered in web, and they see this big lump in the ceiling where he was hanging out before. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, let's cut him out. And then they go to cut him out, and he like peeks up from where he actually was underneath like a sheet. And is like, I wouldn't do that. And then they get hit with gas. And then he like knocks really their heads in and, you know, swings out. It's really good. I like it.
It's really cool.
It must have been such a fun solution to figure out.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's a fun use of Spider-Man as a little stinker. I love it.
Yeah.
But how much does Spider-Man know about like, does he know how this cell is supposed to operate, or is it like lucky that the tranquilizer, like, did he know that there would be tranquilizer gas ahead of time, you think?
I suspect that they didn't tell him how things work, but I think that he probably is smart enough to figure out what is likely present. So
Sure,
like,
that makes sense.
he knows what's in the light fixture, and he knows that there are vents, and he probably, I wouldn't be surprised if Peter Parker knows the difference between just like ventilation and some other whatever, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised if he suspected that there was some sort of tranquilizer gas, or even if it were just like, I don't know, just a bubble, it still would be something that they would think was him.
Yeah, sure. No, that totally makes sense. I like it. It's fun.
It's very
cool. But yeah, he's broken out of the cell. He runs through the facility. The warden assures, of course, a very angry Jameson, who was only here to see Spider-Man lose, that getting out of the cell was actually only half the battle. However, the further Spidey progresses, the less the facility begins to operate properly. Basically, there's a bunch of stuff that fails, right? It doesn't lock down. All of the lockdown measures that are supposed to happen, like, aren't working, to the point, like, it gets so bad that Captain Stacy's like, I think the prison's like actually been hacked. Like, this isn't just like a faulty thing. Like, there's a third party here who's fucking with this. I think that they're considering that Spider-Man hacked it somehow, but like, how would he have hacked it, I think, is the question.
Right. They were watching him for all but like 5 seconds,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think George Stacy has immediately figured out that it's not Spider-Man, but
right.
But yeah, it's not even just that the lockdown stuff isn't working; it's that all the guards are also locked in. So like, it's not even just like faulty system; it is like somebody has to be behind the scenes doing like something nefarious. Because I love when the warden is like, "Oh my god, all of my guys are trapped in their stations."
Right.
This is where we do see that the Green Goblin is here also.
Yes.
Because I think what you would probably first think, and this is what I first thought, is that like, oh, Black Cat's fucking with the prison. Because we already saw her there, and we already saw her hacking in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But then they introduce, oh, Green Goblin's also here, and he's also got his little device, and he's also doing shit. So turns out to be like totally a coincidence that Black Cat happens to be doing all this on the night that Green Goblin strikes, presumably.
Yeah. I don't know that I even thought about that, but you're right. That is a good point. Like, because Goblin hasn't showed up, they have Cat there. It actually kind of feels like an interesting, like, a misdirect.
If he wanted to, he could have just blamed her for the whole thing, because he knows she's there.
Yeah, actually, if Green Goblin dips out at the end of this episode, Spidey is not going to have any question, because he would have assumed any weirdness within the vault, and everyone, Stacy and the warden and everyone would have just been like, oh, well, Black Cat obviously hacked it. That's how she got in. No one would have any idea that Green Goblin was involved at all.
Yeah.
Like, Green Goblin does kind of, I mean, I think it speaks to how much Goblin is sort of like, fuck it, I'm done with this shit. Because he still could have gotten away scot-free, but I think it speaks to how well he planned this, that like, he would have gotten away scot-free with all of this. He chooses to reveal himself because he wants to.
Right. And he, Spider-Man is more capable, particularly because he's also with Black Cat in this episode, than I'm sure anybody expected him to be.
Right.
But yeah, by next week, it truly is like Green Goblin doesn't care about concealing himself anymore. He's just like, fuck it, let's do this.
Yeah. No, it's all well constructed. So Spider-Man then attempts to escape through an elevator shaft, but he's forced to make an early exit when Goblin sends the elevator car careening after him, which is fucking wild. I think it's around this point that Goblin, I think, isn't this when he actually like talks to the camera and is sort of like, I'm in a rhyming mood tonight, and starts rhyming.
Because we've barely seen him. This is like the first thing he says in the episode, I think.
Yeah. I think he immediately starts rhyming. And I think what's interesting is he's the only character that like breaks the fourth wall. I think we mentioned that like in his first appearance, but it's really fun that he does that significantly here. There's no one around. He is talking to himself the whole time. The rhyming stuff he's doing and the funny little poetic things he says, they're just to entertain himself, like in universe. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And I will say too, like, some of the things he says are in iambic pentameter. Not all of them. Not all
I know.
of them.
I was like trying to keep track
some
of it
of
to
them
be like,
Occasionally they are.
Yeah.
I think I think it was just fucking impossible because they have to like it would have been so hard to put it all on iambic pentameter. But like sometimes it is. Occasionally it is. So I give them credit for that. But the rhymes are very fun and you know obviously fits the vibe. And I think also it's meant to like be like, is it Harry because Harry was in a Shakespeare mood because he was supposed to be in the play?
Oh, that didn't even occur to me.
Because some of the things I'll mention it, but some of the things he says later on are literally Puck's lines that he's saying.
Oh shit! Whoa!
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yep. So this is definitely meant to make you think that it is Harry because he would know the role.
That's true. Most people watching this cartoon would recognize them as Puck's lines for sure.
Some people might. It's a famous play. You
Look,
know,
I'm not taking away. It's still brilliant.
Yeah. But also like it makes sense that Norman would because he's like a well-educated, well-read man who I'm sure has read Shakespeare's famous plays, and his son is in the show, so he like knows about all of that stuff. So it makes sense that that'll be on his mind too. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Goblin's doing that, but he's doing all that outside. Spider-Man's not aware where that's happening, so he's just seeing the chaos happen. He ends up on a floor with a whole bunch of prisoners that he was responsible for putting away. You know, they heckle each other. Spider-Man should not seeing the chaos happening in this prison and seeing things stop working and malfunction in a prison where, you know, these same devices that are malfunctioning also control the doors of the cells that his greatest enemies are in, like the Enforcers and like Rhino and like Mysterio and all these people. He's like, yeah, I'm just poke fun at him. So of course, immediately as soon as he does that, the cell doors are open. Of course.
It's amazing because like once you know, and you know at this point, but when you know that Green Goblin is behind it, it's so funny. It's so funny that he just sits there and like watches Spider-Man like taunt these guys and then opens the door. Like waits long enough. It's so like he's truly having the time of his life. You know,
he really is. It's good. This is kind of Goblin's like Goblin in his element. He's having a great time. Yeah.
This is like to me like a far more interesting, entertaining, goblin-y like type of fun messing with Spider-Man than like Next Week, which is like a big blowout action thing, you know, like this is such a fun little like box he's kind of put Spider-Man in.
I would have loved to see more of this stuff. Again, you know, it's the same deal where it's like the show only has a limited number of episodes. I think it would have been fun to have Goblin be behind the scenes for even longer messing with Spider-Man and because you could get fun episode plots out of like how did Spider-Man end up in this situation because the Goblin manipulated it for him to end up in the situation. That's why you know like in a way it could make it easier to write some narratives. Which is probably why they opted not to do it because they want to be challenged all the time on this show. but yeah I agree, it's really fun. And you know, and I think it's like kind of the last gasp of Goblin doing this like fun puppeting strings thing before he's sort of like, no, I'm just gonna like fuck shit up and blow up stuff in the next episode. Yeah. Well, finally the play has begun, which is signaled by Sally just being, finally we're getting started.
I do love that is the line right before the fight breaks out, because
it's right before a commercial too. Yeah.
So finally we get started, and then you come back to the brawl in the prison. It's perfect. Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing about what the whole rest of this episode now. So obviously, you know, we're gonna start intercutting scenes from this school play with the fight, and oftentimes you'll hear lines that line up. And I think previously when we covered this, I think, you know, it's like, oh, it's cool that they're doing this, but you could just sort of assume like they're going in and doing word search for like Ox is part of the cast. So we'll look and see when the word Ox shows up in Midsummer Night's Dream and make sure that a character says that when it shows up. That's definitely part of it. And
it would still be fun and
it would still be fun
if that's all it were.
It would still be fun. But going through this and going through how they actually organize this, I think there's a lot more calculation involved with what they're doing than I think I realized previously, in a way that they really need to be writing the actual like Spider-Man side of the episode as they're figuring out what to use from the play, rather than just writing the Spider-Man episode and inserting play stuff into it, if that makes sense. Because so like, you know, when we last had a bunch of Shakespeare stuff and we did deep dives into Shakespeare things, it was when they were doing their auditions in was it Growing Pains? I think it was the episode when they have all their auditions, right? And in that episode, they were just pulling from literally any Shakespeare play imaginable to find lines that would fit both the character saying it and the scene happening in the episode. And we gave that a lot of praise. It's great. It's really well handled. And it was definitely a challenge, certainly, to look up those Shakespeare bits. But the advantage to that is that they can just pull any lines from any Shakespeare plays.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think, even though it's not taking up as much of the episode, it's only for the back half of it. It is all of these lines that they want to have line up with what's happening in the episode are pulled from one play, which is a feat because you only have one source to pull things from.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of it is that this is chronological with the play. Every single scene that you see is flowing like Act 1, Scene 1 to Act 1, Scene 2 to Act 2, Scene, like, etc. to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Every scene we see from the play is in the order that they are in the play.
It's pretty
which
incredible.
means that they couldn't just pull, not only do they only have this one source to pull lines from, that means that they also have to line up the scene that's happening that has the thing they want to parallel in the show and make sure that the order they're writing all of the Spider-Man action fits the order to match up with the order of the play as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why Greg Weisman wrote this episode, because that's a lot of thinking you have to do, because you have to make sure that they are constantly kind of in conjunction the entire time. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's probably two things, right? Like, one, he is in some ways probably like, I have a vision for this episode and I don't know if anyone's going to be able to do it the way that I'm imagining it. But also, two, I can't imagine anybody was more excited to do this than Greg Weisman.
Right. Because you have to really, and I don't know for sure, but I always assume that Midsummer Night's Dream was probably his favorite Shakespeare play, because, like, for one, they do the play in this show, but like Gargoyles, so much of the mythology is just pulling from the fairy stuff from Midsummer Night's Dream. When you read Spectacular Spider-Man, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's just pulling from the fairy characters of Midsummer Night's Dream. Obviously, they're also related to mythology,
right?
But I think that Weisman is less interested in like real mythology and more in what Shakespeare did with those characters, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think so I think all that's to say, I'm pretty sure he knows this play, like, you know, back to front, right? So yeah, he probably was the best man for the job. So I did do my best to kind of pull each scene, because that's how I figured. I don't think I realized that originally until pulling kind of where the lines were, that it's like, holy fuck, this is literally in order. Like, this is in order of the show. Like, we are actually watching their production of the show. So I did do my best to go through and kind of pull that stuff. I will say, like, Midsummer Night's Dream isn't like, it isn't the Shakespeare show that I'm the most knowledgeable about. Like, there's some Shakespeare shows that I know very intimately, and this one, I read it once and I've seen like one production of it a long time ago. It's not like one of mine. So I don't know a ton about this one. So I still had to like refresh my brain on like what any of these things were. But it was still really fucking cool. So anyway, all that's to say, I'm going to have a lot to say as we go through each scene, I think.
I'm excited.
This first one starts, so, you know, the play starts, but we don't get an actual scene, I think. For a little bit, we get a little bit of the fighting first. So we have some prison fight stuff. Silvermane, the Enforcers, and Quentin Beck are our main players here. And also, Montana reveals that Beck is a Mysterio android.
And I do love that Spider-Man is like, I knew that was a robot.
It's very funny.
I do think that's good. Which does mean that the Quentin Beck who was doing the interview with Ned Lee was a robot.
That's so hilarious. I fucking love that so much. Ned Lee couldn't even figure out that he was interviewing a robot. That's how bad of a reporter he is.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yikes.
But that means the robot can just turn into Mysterio. So now Mysterio is there. He's got his like homunculi gargoyles.
Yeah,
you know, here as well.
It's smart. I mean, I'm assuming they chose to have him be a robot in this so that there could actually be at least one super powered like enemy in this fight sequence, because he is the one that is giving Spider-Man a hard time.
Yeah, I love it. I love the Johnny needs new shoes line from one of the little gargoyles. And I also fucking love J. Jonah Jameson is watching them and entertained by them and is like, I love these guys. Someone should give them their own show. Which, guess who created the show Gargoyles before this?
You better pat yourself on the back. If you don't, who will, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, sure. I'm glad that he did it. I do think everything with Jonah is played really well. The fact that he's like watching all this chaos unfold and seeing the prison just like collapse. And he's still just sort of like, but if they kill Spider-Man, it's a good day though, right? And George Stacey has to be like, dude, come on. Like, really? Like, be for real for a second. Though.
I know. I love that. He's like, you can't really be rooting against Spider-Man. And then there is just silence. I'm thinking.
I also love like the balding guy with like mutton chops and glasses. That's like a big dude. It's just one of the random prisoners. I don't know who he is, but he's got, but it stood out to me because he's got glasses. He's got like blonde mutton chops and he's like kind of bald and he's just like a giant man. And he's one of the, like, he's the same build as Ox, but it's not Ox. Yeah. He's just one of the dudes who like tackles Spider-Man. I don't know. He stood out to me for obvious reasons. The play scene that is intercut during this fight sequence, it's less related to the fight and more just who is fighting in it, which is Spider-Man, which is Peter Parker. Because this is from Act 1, Scene 1. It is the very first scene of the show. It's, you know, Hermia, who MJ plays, and Helena, who Liz plays, are talking to each other. And it's basically Liz's character is telling MJ's character about a guy that that MJ's character's heart has stolen. It's like you sway the motion of Demetrius's heart.
Godspeed, fair Helena.
Call you me fair? That fair again unsay. Demetrius loves your fair. Oh, teach me with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius' heart.
Take comfort. He no more shall see my face.
She's thinking of Peter, her boyfriend, seeing an empty seat, you know, seeing an empty seat. And then also Gwen is there in the audience. So she's thinking about how Gwen has stolen Peter's heart from her, just like Helena thinks of Hermia in the show, which totally makes sense. I think that's like one of the most obvious ones here. It is funny that like in multiple universes, Peter is either disappointing MJ or Liz Allen by being an empty seat in a theater.
Dude, so true.
Like two different girlfriends and still
can't make a fucking play.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is worth pointing out about all of this is that it probably isn't a surprise, but like all of these lines that you hear through this episode are condensed. There will be sections of things, but most of the time you're hearing lines, they're actually part of longer monologues. So Liz actually, her actual lines are a very, very long monologue, and they really condense it to just a few lines. And then they kind of skip really, really far. There's like, she has a few things she says, and then they skip like very, very, very far later into the scene for Hermia / MJ's line, take comfort, he no more shall see my face, which then jumps back to the Spider-Man fight. So there's going to be a lot of that you see, and I'm not going to point out that out every time because it doesn't matter. Obviously it's for time.
Yeah, you can just assume.
But I think I would add to the challenge of writing this, because it's like, not only are you picking out passages, like you are also trying to condense these passages in a way that fits into the timing of your show, but still conveys the meaning that it was supposed to convey in the play. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
That's the thing that they didn't have to run into that in the audition episode as much. Like they cut out a couple of things, but for the most part, you are hearing, you know, what you're hearing. This one, you're getting like snippets of scenes basically condensed into like little mini scenes.
Yeah. I mean, the big impressive piece of it is taking pieces that are far apart and still making it make sense within the play. Right. But it is also like a nice thing that they're able to do because they can't use the whole play. So if they do need to take something to smash it together to fit better with the stuff that is not the play, they have the liberty, like they can take that liberty and they have the ability to do that, which I bet is kind of fun. It's almost like doing found poetry with Shakespeare.
For sure. I mean, because there are definitely things that like the meaning changes slightly because of how they have adjusted it. And it also means that like, you know, it breaks iambic pentameter sometimes, but it's like Green Goblin also is rhyming and breaking iambic pentameter, you know? So it kind of fits the whole vibe of it. I don't know. It's interesting. Also, if you want to rationalize all of this, I remember from doing Shakespeare in high school that like the plays are fucking long, sometimes the director, for the sake of the high school students, would cut things out and shorten the play. So you could argue that
school versions and shorter versions and adjusted versions all over the place.
So you could argue that Devereaux just had no faith in these kids and has just taken just a
massive
real
chunks.
Fucking knife to this play and has cut it down to like just a 1 hour Shakespeare production.
I was going to say, I like the idea that the school was like, Devereaux, you've got 1 hour. And he was like, I can't work like this.
Oh my God.
Aaron Warren, it's okay, honey. We can do this together.
Yeah. The kids will still get, in fact, the kids might enjoy it more because they'll be in and out.
Yep. So we cut back to the prison. Spider-Man is attempting to avoid the android attacks. Like we said, Mysterio is really the one giving him a hard time, and allowing other people to get in on the action because he is the primary distraction. And while that's happening, Black Cat breaks into a cell where there is a prisoner remaining who has not like run out and is sort of just like hiding in a corner. We also learn pretty quickly that this prisoner is Black Cat's father, Walter Hardy. And what I find really interesting about the way they set this up is that Walter's like hiding in a corner in the shadows so that like we can't see him. And so I think at first you're sort of like, oh, there's some sort of reveal for us about who this prisoner is that she's breaking out. Like, who could she be breaking out that we would either know or not suspect or whatever? But he ends up letting Black Cat know that Spider-Man is in the prison right now. And so now all the things are sort of intersected. And then later we learn that sort of like hiding thing has way more to do with Spider-Man than it does for us, the audience, at all. Like, he was not hiding there for the sake of the audience not knowing who he was. He was hiding there from Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's hiding there right. I think that makes sense in the universe. I do still think the heavy shadow that they give him that stays, like, Black Cat's in the same room as him and has no shadow over her. And he's like fully black. It's a fully black shadow. And obviously that's for the audience because they don't, I think, just in case you remember what his face looked like in the flashback in Intervention, I think is what they worry about. It's still, we probably talked about this when we originally covered it. It's always been a little bit awkward to me because it's just like, I don't know. I understand why they're doing it and I don't know a better way. I do think that like if you just had him kind of like not fully in shadow, but like maybe, you know, added a little shadow to his face, but not had his face fully like blacked out, you know? I do think that like characters in the show look similar enough that you wouldn't immediately see it and be like, that's the guy who killed Uncle Ben. Like, you just be like, he looks like another old guy. See Gwen and Sally Averill. Like, people on the show look the same all the time.
That's the thing. I imagine the vast majority of people watching, even if they were like, hey, that looks kind of like the guy, like even if you do remember that guy's face and recognize that this looks like him, I do think the vast majority of people aren't going to immediately assume, that means that this guy is the guy that killed you know, Peter Parker's uncle. So,
but I could see them wanting to prevent any even consideration that there could be possible. I understand that. So I don't know. This probably was the only way to like do it, but I think it just takes. It just goes on a little bit too long.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's necessary in the first place because it goes on too long for him being in shadow. But it's not like in the in the scope of the episode, it's not like the secret lasts for a long time. No. The moment he intersects with Spider-Man, we learn what's going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a little, I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. But the actual character stuff, the reason that they're doing it is cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Which is why, like, you know, you're right. It makes sense that they would eliminate any chance that you know who it is. But I do like that it serves an in-universe purpose also for him to be like cowering in the back.
Right. Yeah. That is smart. It's kind of underplayed, but like he remembers that Spider-Man like tried to fuck it, like almost like literally threw him out of a window, you know, like he hasn't forgotten that. Yeah. And he knows exactly why Spider-Man did it, even if he doesn't know Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Right. He just knows that's somebody Spider-Man really, really cared about and almost killed me over.
Right. Although it would be kind of interesting if he like put the pieces together and like does know it's Peter Parker or suspects it's Peter Parker, but like would have no reason to say anything about that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question, and I thought about it because when I was watching it this time, I was like, wait a second, does this mean that Walter Hardy knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker? And I don't think it does because I don't know why Walter Hardy doesn't know I mean, he knows who Ben Parker is because he killed him.
Right.
But did he know who Ben Parker was when he killed him?
No, well, he doesn't.
like-
but by this point, he's already had a trial and gone to prison.
That's true.
I have to
He
like
probably
it was,
knows that
and it was a
there's a
murder
family.
trial. Peter and May, I'm sure, like as much as it sucks to think about, Peter and May had to sit through
That's true.
a murder trial or probably witnesses and stuff like that. You know, so like
Yeah.
he would know them from that.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very least, and if somehow they settled out of court or something, I don't think you can do that with a murder trial, but if somehow they did and he never actually saw Peter and May in the same room, I'm sure if he's feeling this guilty about it, he would have like read the obituary, you know?
I think, honestly, I think the fact that he feels so guilty about it, which we see a little bit more deeper into the episode, but like, I think the fact that he feels as guilty as he does, I do think means that if he does know Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he's never going to be the one to ever reveal that. So like Peter Parker's secret is probably safest with Walter Hardy because of how horrible Walter Hardy feels about the whole thing.
It would be cool though. Like it's entirely possible he would never appear in the show ever again because he doesn't really need to. But it would be cool because I have no fucking clue what they would have done with Black Cat,
especially
after
given
the end
how
of
this
episode,
ends. Yeah,
how this ends. It would be kind of neat because you know Black Cat in many continuities figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man for various reasons. It would be kind of cool if the way that like she stops being Spider-Man's enemy is by like talking to her dad again, and her dad's like, "Look, this dude you're working with is like literally like a kid. You can't hate him that much," or something like that.
A kid
like,
whose uncle I killed, so maybe lay off.
Because then they could even play like she learns that he's Peter Parker and who he is, and like doesn't tell Spider-Man that she knows he's Peter Parker. And he's sort of like, "Why did you stop flirting with me?" And like inside she's like, "Because you're a 16-year-old and it's gross," but doesn't want to tell him that.
Right.
Like there's so much drama you can play with that, you know? And like and then
Even
that keeps
just
their
her
relationship
caring more in like a way that he's like, "Why are you protecting me so much?" Like there's so many different directions you can kind of go in.
Because I think no matter what, I think Black Cat would always have to have a complicated racial relationship. And since they have the age difference, like they're never going to have a romantic relationship in the show. So like whatever relationship they have would have to be like a really complicated partnership, superhero partnership kind of thing. And I think that angle could keep it really complicated.
Yeah. Ooh, I love the idea of her knowing without him knowing she knows.
I love that because she would have so much fun with it. She would make some kind of jokes about going to class or something like that. You know?
Oh, she would drive him fucking crazy in the way that like George Stacy does, but way more, you know?
Because she's more playful about it.
Yeah. And just like generally better at it than he is because he's like George Stacy's kind of the worst at it.
Yeah. Yeah. More chaos, obviously, as Spider-Man still fighting. I think this is the bit where like Montana ties all the sheets together to a lasso.
Yes, and I love he's like, I knew it would pay off or something. All that time spent tying these together.
He's been doing I like that they play it realistically. Like he didn't just do this. He's had a fucking sheet lasso in his cell for like a month at this point.
How many sheets does he have? How did he pull this off?
He probably charmed some guard to like keep getting him sheets or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that,
I do think of the crew we have here, because we have Quentin Beck, we have Silvermane, we have the other two enforcers, and Montana. I do think Montana is the correct combination of very intelligent in this show. Like he is the show tells us he is very, very smart. But then also charisma, you know, like Silvermane, I don't know if he's like charismatic enough necessarily to like he's not manipulating guards out of charisma. He's manipulating them out of like being Silvermane and a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily get you all the sheets you want. The way that Montana probably can.
Yeah. It's
I kind of love the idea of Montana like flirting his way with like one of the female guards into like getting extra sheets.
Oh my god.
There's something about this that I really like the idea of him sort of doing the like flirty manipulation, but it's Montana.
That's really funny.
He could work his accent, you know?
He could pull it off.
Yeah. Southern charm.
He's a professional.
Right.
Professional hoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think of I think my favorite gargoyle line is in this one. Like my favorite non sequitur one of my favorite non sequitur gargoyle lines, because I think it's the one where he just says jazz hands, just flies by and says jazz hands.
Has it happened yet where I think it already happened, because I think it's when they just get out of the cells, where Spider-Man says, this is where you say get him, and they all say get him, but like one of the gargoyles says like pistachio.
Yeah. I don't know if that
hear
happened.
The other two gargoyles say get him.
Yeah. I think it's a little later actually, because I think Rhino is in that scene. But
that's when
yes,
like the final crew is together.
Yeah. But there's definitely there's banger gargoyle lines in this
They're
one.
good.
Yeah. I also like that like Silvermane's contribution is just to like punch Spider-Man a bunch, which then I think confirms that like he wasn't like a cyborg where it's like built into his body. It was some kind of armor situation happening, because he's just a guy in this.
Yeah, I know. He and Ox is like a pretty tough combo, because Ox, I think, bear hugs Spider-Man, and then Silvermane just beats the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know he's done that so many times to people in alleys.
Oh my God, seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
Oof.
But yeah, so they're fighting.
This is where Black Cat gets involved, because Black Cat learned from her dad that Spider-Man's here, and so she's like, oh, I'm here for a reason, but also I kind of like this guy, so I can't let him just get like killed in this prison. Also, I think she thinks it'll be fun, so she gets involved and tries to help Spider-Man out, and is successful at it. I mean, she's a variable they didn't plan for, and she's also skilled, and so it works enough for them to get back into Walter Hardy's cell.
Yeah.
Which is enough for Spider-Man to like wall off the door with a web, long enough for them to like plan or come up with some sort of escape route.
Yeah. Yes. And but before Spidey actually gets the big reveal of who he's in a cell with, we get a pretty significant chunk of the play after this. We cut to Act 1, Scene 2, and we finally get to see Flash performing as Nick Bottom, which is really cool.
The raging rocks and shivering chocks shall break the locks of prison gates. We will meet, and there we may rehearse most obscenely and courageously. Take pains. Be perfect. Adieu.
I really love how he rolls his tongue with the raging rocks and shivering shocks. It's so funny. He's like, it's Nick Bottom is meant to be like a comical character. It's like it makes sense the Flash is doing it, but I love just like how much ham he's putting on every line reading that he gives in this whole episode. They're so over the top. They don't even make sense. But it's like he's just having so much fun with saying the words that he probably doesn't even know what he's saying, know? Like, it's so fun. Josh Silbar's line delivery is just really, really fun.
Yeah, he's so much fun in this one. He's having a blast.
Yeah. The funny thing about this one, and just again, the I think the clever ways that Greg like condenses these and like skips over things that wouldn't matter. Like, Flash has his lines, and then it just skips over a whole bunch of shit to the very last line of the scene, or rather his last line of the scene. In the actual show, the kid who walks in and like taps Flash on the shoulder to be like, time to exit. Like, that's Quince in the show. He does actually have like one more line, but they just skip that line, I think, because it's funnier that a kid just walks on stage, taps Flash on the shoulder, and almost gives the impression that Flash like forgot that he was supposed to exit and like left,
I feel like Flash doesn't know his blocking, even if he has somehow managed to remember his lines.
Yeah. I also like the detail that like he doesn't have his crutch anymore, but he's still wearing a boot like on his costume. I think it's really clever.
Smart.
Yeah. Then it skips or jumps right to the very next scene. So from the end of that scene, right into Act 2, Scene 1, which begins with the first time we hear Hobie speak, and he's speaking Puck's lines. And I think what's really cool about it is that it takes a bit before we see him. You hear the voice off stage when Glory shows up.
Yeah.
And then eventually we see him be revealed.
How now, Spirit? Whither wander you?
Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere. But either I mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite. Are you not he that frights the maidens of the villagery? misleads night wanderers laughing at their harm. Those that goblin call you, and sweet Puck, are you not he?
Thou speakst aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night.
So a few things I guess to talk about with this are who they're playing and the costumes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hobie is playing Puck, and the way that Puck is costumed is to just look like the fucking Green Goblin.
Complete with like chin extension, you know?
Right. And it's so funny because like I love the way that they were thinking about this, because Harry Osborn was originally cast as Puck, which means that Harry Osborn was intended to be costumed as the Green Goblin, who we always thought was the Green Goblin. You're supposed to have always thought was the Green Goblin.
Right.
But we know that he's not actually the Green Goblin. And it's like this weird kind of meta evidence that he isn't, because we never get to see him dressed as Puck, dressed as the Green Goblin, because he was never the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
This was never the role meant for him.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny. They also do a handful of things that I'll mention where like they specifically...
Wait, what does that mean for Hobie Brown?
Well, who fucking knows? Maybe he would have become... I mean, sometimes Hobie's the Prowler. Maybe this is like he's gonna have a villain turn, is what they're suggesting. You know? The other thing with Hobie as Puck that they do is they take great pains to never have the lines where Puck is named as Robin Goodfellow, which is his real name in the show. Puck is like a nickname for the character. They cut out anytime the lines name him as Robin Goodfellow. And anytime that they have an opportunity to, they will make sure that the word goblin is thrown in, even if goblin was not the original line.
Of course.
So for example, Hobie's sort of entry monologue that he has, and you know, it sounds very sinister when you cut out any of the Robin Goodfellow stuff. It's like, are you not he that frights them? Actually, I'm sorry, this is Glory's lines as the fairy who's talking to and about Puck, I should say. And her lines are you not he that frights the maidens of the villagery? And then skips the mention of his name being Robin Goodfellow to mislead night wanderers laughing at their harm. Those that goblin call you, and sweet Puck, you do their work and they shall have good luck. Are you not he? Obviously talking sinisterly about laughing at their harm, which is the thing the actual Green Goblin does. But then the original line in iambic pentameter is those that hobgoblin call you, and sweet Puck. That's, you know, your iambic pentameter sound. They change hobgoblin to goblin. So Glory flubbed the line, but it makes it so the word goblin is there. It's the only, you know, and that bit breaks iambic pentameter in the section, which I think it makes it stand out a bit, because that is a change to, you know, hearken more to the Green Goblin that is in this episode, not the hobgoblin that would appear in season 3. That's one of many times that they make sure that goblin is like stuck in there, which I think is really interesting. And then Green Goblin and Puck, both at the same time, you have both of their lines overlap following up I am that merry wanderer of the night, just to further, if you didn't get the connection between how Puck is presented in this play and actual Green Goblin, there you go. It's like unavoidable.
Yeah, which means that Green Goblin, who might be Harry Osborn, is speaking a line that Harry Osborn would have spoken in the play.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so fucking cool.
We have to talk about Glory's costume.
Yeah.
Especially now, because we are covering this now after we have seen this costume again, in fact.
Yes. So in Midsummer Night's Dream, there's actually 2 characters technically that Glory is playing. She's playing just a fairy, just named like First Fairy, I think in the script. And then she's also playing another fairy character later on named Cobweb. I think for the purposes of this, they just merge the characters and just make Glory play Cobweb the whole time, and Cobweb's just all over it, which honestly, also a thing that school plays do all the time, where they just like, merge the Shakespeare characters together. So it's fine. I just thought that was interesting because I don't think I realized that before. But because she's a fairy named Cobweb, that gives them the fucking opportunity to put a fucking web on her costume, as well as the colors red and blue. So you literally just have Spider-Man and Green Goblin on stage right now for this production of Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yep. They also give her sort of like face makeup and markings that sort of like frame her eyes to make them look bigger in like a Spider-Man mask kind of way.
Absolutely.
And then what's cool that we know now, because it didn't exist at the time, is that Greg Weisman introduces a character into the Marvel Comics universe called Cobweb, who is a fairy who idolizes Spider-Man and therefore makes herself appear as Spider-Man does. And the costume she wears and the way that her face is marked is exactly the way that Glory is costumed in this play, which is so funny and cool to me. Like, this is Greg Weisman's OC. Like, Greg Weisman had an OC, like, all the way back in Spectacular Spider-Man, his own little, like, Spider-Sona OC, who he then introduced into the actual comics, who we're probably never going to see again. I'm so sorry, Greg Weisman, but she exists in the 616. She's official.
It's very cool. It's so cool to see, and it's like one of the many ways that like this show kind of lives on in those Spectacular Spider-Man comics. Which then also got unceremoniously canceled before they were supposed to be canceled. But listen to our Patreon episodes on that series. We love it. It's a great time. That's some of my favorite comics that I read last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really neat. And, Cree Summer doing Shakespeare, like...
Dude.
She's the best actor of this show. Like Glory Grant is clearly the best actor of the show.
Yes, 1,000%. She's so good. I would like to see Cree Summer do Shakespeare. I hope she has somewhere and that it is recorded and I can watch it.
Yes, it's beautiful. She's so good at it.
Yeah,
I love the little like run that they have her do while she's doing the over hill over dale monologue. It's just really cool. It's really well animated too.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Glory, your future's so bright.
Yep. I hope she and Hobie like do plays together professionally. After this.
I really hope for that too. I want that for them.
Yeah.
Like best professional actor buds on Broadway came up through the same high school doing shows together.
I love that. I love that like Mary Jane is like the canonical actor that's here, but like
sorry girl, you're getting upstaged big time.
Right. She really is. She's just kind of in the background of the show. Like no one's really paying attention to MJ in this one.
As unfortunate as it is, she's also like the new student. This is probably the first thing she's auditioned for at the show or at the school, and it doesn't necessarily always get you a lead role to be doing your first show unless you are truly spectacular.
She is technically she's a major role in the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. Like Herbia has a major role.
That's true.
We're just not seeing
it's more just how she appears in the episode.
In any of her scenes. We still see like one scene from her and nothing else. Which is very funny. But anyway, back in the prison, Green Goblin sees that Black Cat is present and decides to, okay, well, we got another superhero here, or, anti-hero here. So let's up the difficulty by letting Rhino and Mark Allen out of their cells. It's such a bummer that, like it makes sense, in universe that, like, they know that Mark Allen has this, like, internal superpower. But because we know that, like, he can't turn it on his own, it's, like, it's completely unfair to him that he has to be locked in the same cell block as Rhino, like, and probably other superpowered dudes, because, like, he doesn't actually control his superpowers. He's just a guy in there right now.
Right. I mean, it makes total sense, right? Like, no one else really knows that, and they're not going to believe him that he can't do it. And all they've really seen is that he's a man who can shoot lava from his hands. Like, it's one of the most dangerous people Spider-Man's fought. But yeah, it really sucks. I mean, he just got such a fucking raw deal. And we talked about it last week too, but like the ultimatum or the coercing or whatever, the threat that Green Goblin manipulates with him last week is the exact same one he manipulates with him here, which is go kill Spider-Man or I will make you permanently Molten Man.
Yeah.
Because Mark, this is where Mark is like, what else could you possibly take from me? My life is ruined. I'm in prison already.
Yeah. Right.
Poor guy.
Right. Which, yeah, it's upsetting. And, I mean, I will say he still is not, he's still not making you're right. Raw deal, tragic situation, really awful, unfair to him. He's still not making like the right calls though. Cause as soon as the Goblin like activates his, his armor.
Oh yeah. He still doesn't have to go. Goblin doesn't control his legs.
Right. It's like, well, I guess I'll kill Spider-Man now. And it's just like, dude, you've got your molten powers. Like, use them to break out of prison or something. I don't know. Like, what?
That's true, because the
why do you trust this guy?
Right. Well, I mean, part of it is he's being manipulated, and he's probably 17 or 18. The fact that he's in this prison means that he has to at least be one of those two, but he can't be much older because he was still in high school.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't think he's excitedly going to try to destroy Spider-Man or anything, but the moment, if he had a moment to stop and think about it, you know, the moment he starts doing something Goblin doesn't like, Goblin's just going to turn his powers off and he can go back to his cell.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Allen.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Poor Mark. Yeah. Well,
but good for Rhino getting another chance.
Yeah. He's just like, okay, yeah, I'll kill Spider-Man. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
I'll never question it.
Yeah. So back in Black Cat's father's cell, Spider-Man is like, why are you here? Why are you here? You don't even go here. And she's like, oh, I'm here for my daddy. And it's Walter Hardy, the cat burglar. And this is when you pull him out of the shadow, you get a good look at his face. And that's when Spider-Man immediately recognizes that face as the man who murdered Uncle Ben.
Yeah. There's a moment where Black Cat says, let me introduce you to my father. And Walter Hardy objects and says, Felicia, don't. And then she pulls him out of the shadow. Yeah. And I missed it the first time I watched it. It didn't like mean anything to me. But when you know everything and you know what the show's doing with him, it's like, oh shit, he's like genuinely trying so hard not to be seen by Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And we definitely talked about this last time we covered it, but it's always going to be interesting to me that like you have these two scenarios that have existed in Spider-Man lore. I can't think of any other ones that I've encountered where they make Uncle Ben's killer someone else. Like other than Spider-Man 3 doing it with Sandman and the show doing it with Walter Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever encountered, if the comics have done it, I haven't read them, if they've ever merged that character with someone else or made an important character having killed Uncle Ben rather than just a random carjacker. I've seen them do things with that carjacker's backstory, but not like made him be revealed
a character
to be
we
another,
as an audience would have been familiar with elsewhere.
Right. So as far as I know, there's only these two scenarios. And I do think it's really interesting how differently they both play. Like the Sandman stuff in Spider-Man 3, I think like I've explained ad nauseum on stuff that I've done before that like it makes sense that they needed to do that for the structure of the plot and the story that they were telling. Like I understand the thought process, but in no universe does it ever not feel contrived in some way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, especially with that one, because it's like Spider-Man literally like basically killed the guy he thought killed Uncle Ben and didn't actually do it. So it's like,
it's a hard thing to reckon with.
It's a weird thing to reckon with. It and that movie tries to, but like, you know, to varying degrees of success, I think. It's always going to be a thing that feels like a retcon because it's like, well, you had your kind of iconic, you know, very straightforward Spider-Man origin story that you're now complicating for the sake of a completely different character that's already like a guy made of sand. Like, why do we need this? You know? It ends up feeling like you're adding too much onto another character. It feels like you're complicating what was previously a simple story. And, you know, and I think that Sandman already is like a big enough character, even if he's not always the most complex character, he's a big enough recognizable character that like it feels weird to put that on him, you know?
Yeah.
Even if I think that it made sense for the narrative of that movie and with the story that they're ultimately telling, it just never, you always have to get over the contrivance to get to that always feels forced and thought of after the fact, not something they've been planning since Spider-Man 1, you know? This one I think plays very differently to me because it's not that like the guy who killed Uncle Ben wasn't the guy, it was actually this other guy. It's the guy who killed Uncle Ben just happens to be related to another character, essentially, is what it is. And
always
I do think
was
that
who
feels
he
different.
was.
Always was who he was. It was just another character that in a lot of Spider-Man continuities, like doesn't really actually interact with Spider-Man that much. He just only is important by being related to Black Cat. I know that's not always the case, but most of the time Black Cat's important. Her dad is like, you know, more of a peripheral character that intersects sometimes. So I think it's like feels fairer to that because there's plenty more you can do with that character. He already was a burglar, right? Like his whole deal was being a burglar, which could put him into a position where he's robbing someone and shoots them with a gun, you know?
Yeah, it feels way more like taking Montana and turning him into a more important character you recognize, or taking Fancy Dan and giving him a name you already recognize. Like, they're smaller characters that you're giving more significance significance as opposed to the Sandman situation, like you said, where he's already a big character.
Exactly. So I've always liked this. I thought this was a really smart story decision.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Oh yeah, I think it works really, really well.
Yeah. And I think it's also really cool that as soon as you get Spider-Man, meeting this Walter Hardy by moonlight, because we know the moon is shining, we cut to Kenny playing Oberon having the famous "ill met by moonlight" line.
Black Cat's father murdered Uncle Ben.
Ill met by moonlight.
Kenny is a good casting choice for Oberon. I kind of love that. That's like really
fun. Right? I really dig it. Also, he just looks cool.
I love his costume. The green paint with like the sticks on his head.
Yeah.
Like the stick crown, I guess is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I like it.
It's very cool. And we got to commercial with that line too, which I really love.
Yeah.
And then when we come back from commercial, there's a very, very cut up version of Titania's monologue that's way longer. Sha Shan is playing Titania. We'll talk about her more, I think, in a second.
And never met we, but with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. As in revenge, the ox had therefore stretched his yoke in vain.
That monologue is a lot longer. The whole reason I think they put it in here at all and cut it down as much as they do is specifically so it can get to the line, the ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, while overlaying that with the character ox trying to stretch the bars of the prison.
Sometimes it just works and it's irresistible,
Yeah, of course. That's the most like, you control F'd the script of Midsummer Night's Dream to find where the word ox was spoken and then worked your way backwards from there, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, it works, particularly because it's ox. For whatever reason, that makes it feel even better.
Yeah, exactly.
So we get Black Cat, Walter Hardy, and Spider-Man making their escape, and they do so through an air duct, and Spider-Man is telling Black Cat, there is no way I'm letting you bust this guy out. Doesn't really explain, obviously, because it's a complicated thing to explain to someone who doesn't know who Spider-Man is. But he's like, no way. And he's like pissed. Like, it's like he's instant switch, kind of talking to himself, almost like muttering to himself about the situation.
Yeah, we've never seen him like this
before. No. This is like, it's not obviously to the degree of like shocker, but it's like that type of turn where you're like, this does not sound like the Spider-Man or Peter Parker I'm used to watching on this show. It is meant to make you feel different.
Yes. So I love as he's doing that, Black Cat's just like, gee, Dad, what did you do to
what
this
did you
guy?
do to this guy? Right, because she has no idea. So like, oh man, it's like she's like curious, obviously, because it's like a real thing, but she's also being Black Cat, so she's being like playful and sort of jokey about it, but like she has no idea, dude. Well, because they're in the air ducts, Silvermane instructs Molten Man to direct his powers into the duct. I don't know if we said this, but Rhino comes by and just rips the door off.
He does, and you get that like shot into his mouth where his thingamajigger that's in the back of his mouth is moving. Uvula, that's right. Yeah, uvula is moving.
Yeah, I do. I love that he comes in and is just sort of like, y'all are chumps, and just immediately, no problem.
Yeah.
How do you think Ox felt in that moment?
Oh my God.
Think he was missing his super suit?
Love, hopefully.
Yeah. Just deep admiration and lust.
Yeah. No, I think he probably was jealous. It's like, damn, this guy's one up at me.
Right?
Probably feeling like real like inferiority.
Yeah, real
from
tiny.
That, actually. It's like, I need to upgrade my suit, actually, is what I need to do, and maybe make it permanently fused to me, maybe.
Right. This is how Ox becomes like an actual supervillain.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, anyway, Molten Man is being directed to basically like flood them out of the air duct with fire. It's funny because as this is happening, Black Cat's sort of like poking and prodding at Spider-Man, and they're, Spider-Man's like raging kind of to himself, but kind of out loud. And Walter is sort of like, ooh, isn't it getting kind of hot in here? Which would be like a funny cartoon thing to do when you're like in an awkward situation. But no, it's just literally getting hot because they're being chased by like lava.
Yeah, which then immediately cuts to Glory's line.
Weaving spiders, come not here. Hence, you long-legged spinners. Hence!
Because, like, get the fuck out of the air ducts. Yeah,
Get
I
out
love
of there.
Get out of there. You guys gotta get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That then cuts to the next act, Act 3, Scene 1. So we've literally gotten through every sequential act at this point, up to Act 3, Scene 1. But even though you see the transition on stage, like go from the end of this scene to the next one, they just skip till about like halfway through the actual scene. But it's to get to Nick Bottom, who is Flash, and Titania, who's Sha Shan, basically expressing their love to each other.
I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. Mine ear is much enamored of thy note, and thy fair virtue's force doth move me to swear I love thee.
Methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that.
I love this so much. I feel like this is when Flash Thompson like falls in love with Sha Shan.
I think so. I think he liked her, and
Yes.
I think this is when he actually falls in love with
Yes.
her. I agree.
I love the image of her basically holding him. She's like this pretty tiny girl holding like the first string quarterback who's huge, and basically professing her love. And he has this sort of like vulnerable moment of like, I don't know why. I'm not sure why you should do that, but it's like clearly like smitten and absolutely like, I don't know. His delivery is so good.
Because you see him in the donkey head that they have built for him.
Yeah.
And Sha Shan has her lines like basically saying, I love thee. And then a few more words similar to that.
Mhm.
And his response, he thinks for a second, and it's just so smart because it's like his actual line is definitely like what he's actually thinking.
Mhm.
And it's probably like one of the more authentic deliveries
It's the best
he gives. He's like,
delivery he has.
yeah, methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that. Like, because he really is sort of like, like he probably, I'm sure he falls in love with her in this moment, but I could also see it being a bit of a freak out moment of
I
for him
think
being
so.
like, oh God, this is real. Like, we don't really get to see them, like they're hanging out together in the next episode, but we don't really get to see them together. I wouldn't be surprised if season 3, it's a lot of like, we dealt with Flash being feeling inferior for thinking that Sha Shan will think he's stupid. He's beyond that. And now he's feeling inferior in that he's scared that like he's just not good enough for her as a boyfriend.
Yes, I think in this moment he is realizing he's in love with her and that she really, really cares about him and might have really strong feelings for him, and he's not experienced that before and doesn't want to fuck it up and doesn't feel like he's like worth her attention and affection.
Right.
Which is such an amazing I want it. I love this for Flash Thompson. I love it so much, especially this Flash Thompson, who we have seen the whole time has like a sort of gooey center in there somewhere, you know?
Yeah. God, I'm so mad that we didn't get to see more of this relationship.
I know.
Like, if this has to be the end of it, it's a really nice capper because
it is
like,
a very beautiful way to end
this is them actually, like, without actually saying it to each other as themselves, this is them expressing their love for each other. And that is really beautiful and such a nice culmination for Flash's arc through all of this, that like he's literally sitting like the dude whose whole deal was like, I'm the best of the best and like, lording himself over people, like being this big football star, that his arc ends with him being on stage in a play as a comical character in a fucking donkey head, being literally like the character who's the butt of the joke in the whole show, but embracing it, having fun with it, and also like authentically expressing his love and being loved by someone else for the first time in his life. Like, that he had to fully transform by the end of this for that moment, and for like, it feels like such a beautiful culmination of the journey he has been on this entire time.
Does Flash and the part of this is incidental of not getting the full 5 seasons,
Right.
but does Flash Thompson have the best character arc of anyone on this whole show?
I think like by a mile, actually. And that's not to,
and it's
that's
kind
not,
of complete on accident, you know?
Yeah, like there's more that you can do with him, but if this is if this is the end of it, it does feel like an ending for him. You know, like he has gotten from point A to point B, and he is like a fully transformed person.
Damn.
By the end of this, I think it is, because I think a lot of the other character arcs on this show have been kind of slow burn, right? Which has made this show good, but it does also mean that at the end of season 2, like Harry, there's so fucking much more to do with him. Peter Peter is moving so incrementally in his lesson learning. Gwen too, like Gwen
barely getting started.
Gwen's barely gotten fucking started with what the story that they should be telling with her.
Yeah.
Mary Jane, honestly, like we've seen shades of her, but like this is so
Also
clearly
just
like
getting started.
the earliest beginning of Mary Jane, and we're only just now starting to see some vulnerability in her. You know, like yeah, I don't think anyone other than like some super villains, I guess, have had some good arcs, but like no one and Eddie Brock is pretty transformed, but like I wouldn't call that an arc so much as like
that's like a fall, you know.
A fall, yeah. I think that Flash really is like the most significantly changed from episode 1 of season 1 to episode 13 of season 2.
Yeah.
He is the most fully changed over the course of it, like consistently as well, and having gone through many phases.
Consistently, and it feels extremely earned.
Yeah.
Damn, Flash Thompson.
We love him so much.
I don't know enough Flash Thompson stories to actually ask this question because we don't see a ton of Flash Thompson in cartoons. But this is where I feel like I would be like, is this the best Flash Thompson? Is this my favorite Flash Thompson? I don't know if I can say that with confidence, but he's way, way up there. I just don't know. He gets his own comics, so it is hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I think comics are their own thing because like he's literally like led titles and stuff, and that's a different situation. He's never done that outside of the comics.
That's true, and we don't. When we ask that, we don't mean the comics. So cartoon wise,
I think we're talking adaptation because comics are that's just a different ballpark. I think for adaptation wise, counting shows and movies. I think that again, kind of far and away, the best Flash Thompson. I think, like,
yeah, I think it's the best one.
There are ones that I like fine, but like, he's not only do I like this guy, like he is someone that like was showing shades of being interesting from the very beginning, and like we said, has a full complete arc in the show. No other Flash had. I like the 2017 Flash, but we don't really see enough of him to feel like we really get a sense of his arc. I like the 90s show Flash, but like he again appears so sparingly, and it's not really an arc so much as that like he just starts dating Deborah Whitman and becomes nicer because of that, which is cool, but like it's not enough.
It's similar to this, but we don't see it happening like the whole time. It's not like beginning to end transformation.
Exactly.
It's a very, very quick turnaround thing. The only other Flash Thompson in an adaptation that I feel like I've had like warm feelings towards is probably like Amazing Spider-Man's Flash Thompson.
Amazing Spider,
like Andrew Garfield's Flash.
Oh, that's
he's good, but
I like. I mean, but he also, I do like because he's.
But he has like one moment is really all it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when he's like, consoling him after Uncle Ben dies. I do like that moment. Yeah,
but like the rest of them
MCU,
are like pretty normal Flashes.
The MCU Flash is funny, but like I don't really like him.
I don't
like honestly.
It's fine. I don't have any issue with it, but I don't.
It's just like whatever. Yeah. That's and then Joe Manganiello in the Raimi movies.
Yeah,
gets to
fine.
be,
yeah,
a guy who punches Peter Parker is about it.
Yeah. So I mean, like I bring up the Amazing Spider-Man one because like the next one on the list for me is somebody who has like one moment. Like the pool's not deep. but I don't say that to take it away from this one. This one is genuinely incredible.
Have we met him in Ultimate Spider-Man? We have. We went to his like house party or something, didn't we? Yeah, the Venom one, right? Or
maybe.
Am I confusing that with 2017?
No, I think that was 2017 because I think Miles is in that. Or no, that's a different house party.
That's a different house party. There is a party episode with Venom that is in Ultimate Spider-Man, and Harry's there, but isn't Flash also there?
I don't remember Ultimate.
No,
there is an Ultimate Flash. I feel so confident about this.
But the fact that I can't remember it.
No. There is 100% because there's an episode. I think it's an episode you weren't there for. I think it's an episode David co-hosted with me. It's the theater episode. It's Flash Thompson's in a Spider-Man costume.
That's right.
Episode.
That's right.
Because there is specifically the episode where Flash is mistaken for Spider-Man episode in Ultimate.
Yeah, I wouldn't rank that very highly either.
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah. The only other one, that's so funny that like I literally wasn't there for that episode. And then Flash, the one appearance that he makes in Amazing Friends in the Video Man episode.
Oh my god,
where he gets trapped in a video game.
Yeah.
I like that Flash was
pretty
fun.
iconic, you know?
It was pretty iconic. Yeah. No, I kind of think this one wins by a lot.
We've seen them all, and this one is by a mile, you know?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Fantastic job with Flash.
Well, we are back in the air ducts. They're leaving the air ducts, I should say. Spider-Man, Walter, and Black Cat leave the air ducts. They end up back in part of the vault where the tranquilizer gas is kept in large tanks, which is going to be very important for how this episode concludes. Spidey's like, can we distribute it throughout the prison? Black Cat's like, they can't. But we can, leak it all out in this room. We just have to lure all the prisoners here. And the other downside is that someone will have to manually release the gas, trapping them inside.
This makes sense, right? Is it because they don't have the controls? Is it because Green Goblin has hacked everything?
Yeah, I mean, they're mainly doing it when you see Walter do it later, he's literally turning the fucking knob on the tank.
Right.
So I think
but is
that,
it because
theoretically
to do it from the room, that's the only way to do it from the room.
I think so, because where else do they do it if the stuff's been hacked, right? So,
right. Or I mean, even still, they probably.
Oh, well.
It's not the same room that the warden was in earlier, was it?
No.
They were in a security room.
This is literally a tank room, like a room just full of tranquilizer gas tanks.
Yeah. So there probably aren't controls in there.
Yeah.
In any case, I think it probably doesn't
controls but any controls outside of the room either wouldn't work.
Still wouldn't work, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it all checks out really well, actually.
Okay.
Well, and also Black Cat, I think the question is who's going to stay and manually release the gas, because then you'd be stuck with the tranquilizer. And I like that Black Cat's just without a beat, just sort of well, you will, Spider-Man, you're the hero, right? So
I know. Right. Yeah. It hit me a different way this time, because the first time it's sort of oh yeah, that's funny. But no, she's she's really trying to manipulate him a little bit to be no, you'll stay behind and I'll be off with my dad.
Yeah.
It's kind of exactly what she needs to get her dad out of there, given that Spider-Man has just vowed to not let him get out.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. Cold. I love it.
Yeah. So that's going on, and then we get one quick cut to Act 3, Scene 2, where we get Puck and Green Goblin at the same time just saying one line.
Shall we their fun pageant see? Lord, what fools these mortals be.
Which is just another fun Goblin Puck thing, and look what fools they are that they're going to get fucked up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We cut to Green Goblin, who is continuing to watch everything go down. And we see that he's watching Spider-Man swinging back to the cell blocks where all of the bad guys are trying to figure out their next move, because they need to lure the bad guys into the chamber. So that has been assigned to Spider-Man, is being the lure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this is a really cool thing that they do. I mentioned this earlier, but you cut to Goblin doing this whole up and down rhyme thing.
Up and down, I will lead them up and down. I am feared in field and town. Goblin, lead them up and down.
Those are literally Puck's lines from Midsummer Night's Dream. And not only is Goblin just reciting lines from the play that we're not seeing on stage, this does take place chronologically, within the rest of the play. So we have been in Act 3, Scene 2. He is also saying lines from Act 3, Scene 2, even though we're not cutting back to Midtown to see them performing Act 3, Scene 2. So even Goblin is on the same time frame as everyone else in the play is. And this is the one case, because Goblin is the one saying the line, this is the one time that the word goblin is actually said in these monologues. Every other time you hear goblin in this episode, it's replacing another word. But in the actual play, goblin, lead them up and down is actually the real line. So the only person who gets to actually authentically say the word goblin within the context of this play is the Green Goblin himself. And we don't hear anyone on the actual stage say this line, which is just fucking cool.
It is pretty incredible, because it's a line that Harry would have actually said in character that Goblin says that has the word goblin in it.
Yeah. Very fucking cool.
It's good stuff. Well, naturally, the villains chase Spider-Man through the block. He destroys some homunculi along the way in what I now can never unnotice, which is a never-ending stairwell 40 stories tall.
I love that the show loves doing this so much. It's so funny.
I love that you've pointed this out, and now I see it every single time anyone falls down a stairwell.
Every building in this show is like 70 stories. Like, it's incredible.
But probably in every show, because it definitely happens in Ultimate, and I'm sure it happens in every other show, and I've never noticed it, or never thought about it, I should say.
Right, because like, why would you? Because you're just watching a fucking cool action
It's an effect,
sequence.
Anyway, he ends up tricking Molten Man into taking out the Mysterio android, and then leads the rest of them into that tranquilizer gas tank chamber. He shuts the door on them, and then we see Walter Hardy actually releases the gas into the chamber.
They didn't need to do this little like time jumpy stuff, but I like that they do it because it makes it a nice little surprise when we see this Walter
I like
Hardy,
the way
and
that
then
they do it.
Yeah, and then you have to cut back.
I think
to
it's
the
worth it.
explanation. It's good. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And the only other Shakespeare thing here is this is the only thing that we get from Act 4. We don't actually see anything on the play. We just see during the stairwell fight when like Spidey's like grabbing the fire extinguisher. Like Flash has the line as Bottom like, Monsieur's cobweb, get your weapons in hand, which is like fun because he's getting a weapon. I think a couple things about this. I forgot to mention this earlier, but like Glory does eventually enter as the character of Cobweb, and I think the reason that they combined the fairy and Cobweb in this is specifically so she could have that costume with the webbing, but also so then she can come into a scene and say the word Cobweb, because like in the original scene, like there's a whole bunch of other fairies she's entering with, but like they cut it so she gets to say Cobweb so she can say the word Cobweb as you cut back to Spider-Man.
Of course,
but that was an earlier scene. The important one here is just that one line. The other thing that I think is interesting is there's only one scene that this episode skips. Every single scene in this in Midsummer Night's Dream has something taken from it and put into this episode.
Honestly, that's the most impressive thing about this.
Right.
To
every
me.
single one. That's bananas to me. There's 5 fucking acts of this show, and every single scene from each act has something in it except for Act 4, Scene 2. This one line that you get from Bottom as a voiceover is the only thing you hear from Act 4.
Monsieur Cobweb, get you your weapons in your hand.
I think really the only reason for it, maybe there was a deleted scene from this episode that perfectly integrated something.
There's a
Act 4, Scene
script
2.
with something.
Yeah, I'm sure. I am positive the Weissman had to have tried, because I'm sure it probably drove him crazy that he couldn't get a line from every single scene. But like that scene, it's incredibly short. It's basically like you have a super short kind of like, epilogue-y scene with Bottom that's like super, super short. And it's just Bottom talking to some dudes. There's like nothing to it. And then Act 5, Scene 1 is just one scene that's basically just like a monologue. So like, I think it probably was like, there's literally nothing I can pull from this. And I'm sure there might've been something maybe you could have pulled from, like if he did the play out of order.
Sure.
But at this point, you're reaching the climax of the episode. So you would need something climactic that someone says to be included. It probably was a struggle to get the weapons line figured out from Act 4, Scene 1. I think that's probably why
Just to have something, yeah.
And that's probably why you don't see anything more extensive from Act 4, because there's just like wasn't enough that would line up for what's happening in the episode, right? So all the credit in the world to him, but I'm sure they probably will never not be angry that he couldn't get every single act or every single scene accounted for in this episode.
That's so funny. Still, extremely impressive.
It still is, and I do think like it's a pretty wide stretch. Like we've gotten so many rapid cuts to the play or voiceovers from the play that now this one act that we're basically skipping over, it's a pretty significant amount of time of action and stuff before we get to the end of the episode where you actually get to Act 5. So like timing wise, it still times out that Midtown is continuing to perform this act, even if we're not cutting to it, Like it still makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. You alluded to the sort of time jumpiness of the gas the gas tank chamber reveal. This is where we see what actually happened, because we cut to outside where Black Cat is back in her delivery van, and she flashes back to a conversation she had with Walter just shortly before this, where he admits to Black Cat that he's the one who killed Ben Parker and that he feels he deserves to be in prison for that. He even explains like, why it happened the way that it did. He said that he really prided himself at the beginning and most of his career on never hurting anybody in order to do the things that he does, which I think makes a lot of sense for who he is and what his whole deal was. But then as he got older, he got a little bit worse at the things he was trying to do and got a little bit more desperate and started to carry a gun. And then that's when he actually hurt somebody and killed Uncle Ben. And so he feels particularly bad about it because it was something he intended to never do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really good exchange, not good because it feels good, but I just think it's written and acted well, where Spider-Man is obviously there for this explanation. And so he hears Walter Hardy say, I deserve to be in prison for this. And Spider-Man says, I don't care. That does not make us even. You staying in prison and you doing this thing and staying behind in this chamber does not make us even. And Walter says, I understand, which would have been a good interaction already. But I love that Black Cat responds to their interaction with, I don't. I just think it's really good, especially given where we see things go, you know? It's such a short, brief thing for her to just throw in there during like an otherwise like, not that her contribution isn't like a sincere piece of it, but like Walter Hardy is having like this sincere introspective moment with Spider-Man, and I love that she's like, no, no, we're not doing that.
Right. She's just pissed. And I mean, even Spider-Man like does say like, you're not forgiven in this too. So it's like Walter kind of is being like the best, like the best man in this situation. Like he's the one who's just like, you know, fully doing the selfless thing. And, you know, not that Spider-Man's in the wrong for like not forgiving the man that murdered his uncle. I think that's a perfectly fair thing. But like,
if your whole thing is like be the bigger person, then Walter is doing that.
Exactly. Right. And the fact that Spider-Man voices that, it's like, I don't care. You're not forgiven, but whatever. I guess I won't kill you today.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you know, that's still a pretty dark place for him to be. And then Black Cat is kind of also on Spider-Man's level, but towards Spider-Man, that it's just like, fuck you, dude. What the, don't make my dad stay behind.
Right.
You do it. You're the fucking superhero, man. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
We do see that she gets out just fine. She is leaving as the prisoners pass out. If she wanted to, she could just be done with all this. If she wanted to.
Yeah. But of course, Green Goblin is sort of like, I do love this, that it's like, I've been doing the surrogate bullshit of like manipulating other villains to attack Spider-Man. And you know, and you watch the show, it's just sort of like, I don't know, Goblin, why don't you just kill him yourself? And he comes to the exact same conclusion. It's sort of like, this complicated shit, that's not working. Who cares? What if I just kill Spider-Man myself?
Yeah. It's great. I love it because like his whole thing is he's trying to become the new big man. And so like he's doing all the things that the big man of crime would do. And then gets to a point where he's like, wait a second, this doesn't work. I'm just going to do it. Why am I not just doing it myself?
Right. Well, I can remember like there was a thing he said to Mark last week where he's sort of like, you know, the mistake these other crime lords keep making is like distract Spider-Man when like, why don't they just kill him?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like he's gone through a similar arc where it's like, he also hasn't, like he's been thinking like he's going in the right direction. Like, yeah, just kill Spider-Man.
But
he's
he
not realizing,
himself
like,
is not just killing Spider-Man.
Right. But it's sort of like, no, I'm actually the most competent supervillain in this whole fucking city. If no one else can kill Spider-Man, I probably can do that. Yeah. And I also think it's really smart that they align that with him abandoning the rhyme schemes, which he even calls out as like, I'm done with surrogate squashers and rhyme schemes, because it's like, this is the moment it's like, no more playful Green Goblin. Shit's getting real now. I'm just going to become a murderer.
Yeah. I'm not just a silly guy in a Halloween costume. I'm actually extremely deadly.
Yeah, which I mean pays off in the next episode. Like he becomes extremely deadly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yep.
But having decided that, he's like, all right, no more behind the scenes shit. I'm just gonna show up, and he just starts throwing bombs at Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. This is where it begins, out in the open shit.
Yeah. Which, you know, and the downside for Green Goblin, I think a calculation he probably couldn't have made, is that Felicia sees this happen in the rearview mirror, and you do get a moment where it really seems like she's just going to drive off and leave him to die. She's that pissed.
Yeah.
But she's not. She still has a soft spot for Spider-Man, and she's still like a good person at her core.
Right.
So she shows up, helps Spider-Man fend off Green Goblin. Green Goblin flies off because he wasn't intending to fight two people today. And Spider-Man's like reeling from like, fuck, Green Goblin's back. Like, what do I do?
Right.
And also sort of like, hey, thanks, Cat. And Cat's like, I will never forgive you for leaving my father in there.
Yeah.
She like blames him for like poisoning his heart with his like super heroic goodness, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is so perfect and amazing in this episode for her to turn back, even though we see her fuming and pissed and like so mad. Not just because like we like Black Cat, so she should do the right thing, but because we just met her father, who gave this whole thing about how he was a criminal but prided himself on never hurting anybody, and one of his biggest regrets was hurting somebody. And Felicia, on like at the front of her mind and currently in her heart, like doesn't get that, but clearly also feels pretty similarly in that she cannot drive away when she's pretty confident Spider-Man is going to get killed and she could do something about it. I think that's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, again, I this show is good at writing like complex characters, and the motivations will make sense. And Trisha Helfer, I think, is fucking, I love her so much as Black Cat.
She's really good.
She really nails it. And I do think like, because we, you know, her last couple of appearances have always been like purely playful. This is the first time where we've seen things get personal for her. And I think that like the turn that she has with her performance as Black Cat of being like angry, like righteously angry in a way we've never seen this otherwise super chill, playful, fun loving person be. It's so stark. And like it her departure at the end of this, like saying, I'll never forgive you for that, as she just leaps off of a building, never to be seen ever again in this show. Like that leaves me more like terrified and upset and worried than like any other villain giving their I'll defeat you soon Spider-Man.
Because she has the ability to hurt him in a different way, you know?
Yeah. And it's so clearly so personal for her.
Yeah.
Like it's not like she's going to like try to murder Spider-Man for revenge by concocting some scheme. Like she's going to run into him one day and like decide to get him like arrested or something like that. You know what I mean? Like find out some manipulative way to get him like hurt in a way that will actually, that she knows will hurt him, because she does like know him reasonably well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like there are so many things about the show I want to like wish I could see have played out, because they're like characters we spent a long time with, or they're sort of unexpected things, or they've posed a question or whatever. This is like a very traditional, just like this relationship just changed and it would have looked different. And we just never get to see what that different looks like.
This is very high on my list for things that I wanted to see how they would handle it, because it's like, it's not unusual. Like the comics have definitely had times when Black Cat has been pissed at Spider-Man for some reason.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And she's flirted with villainy enough times. Like there's plenty of directions. Like maybe she goes working for another crime lord or something like that, like more directly. And Spider-Man has to deal with her in that way, but who knows? Like it's possible. But I think the comics always had the fallback that like, but she's kind of madly in love with Spider-Man no matter what.
Yeah.
And this one, like, she obviously has a flirtation with him. But again, the smart thing in a way of the age difference thing where Spider-Man isn't a full ass adult means that like they can't just lean on that, which means that whatever resolution there has to be with her and Spider-Man has to be something different and a little more complicated than just, but she loves him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do think they have managed to write it, and she's managed to act it in such a way that it is perfectly believable that in this show, between these two characters, she's just playing with him purely. Like it isn't like nothing more than that. It, you know, she doesn't know who he is, so it could be something more than that. But I think the way that it is acted makes it feel different than a story where you're sort of like, ooh, she loves that guy, or even she just wants to fuck that guy. Like it's played different here.
So upset we'll never see her again. Yeah. Well, after this, she's not the only like character exit we get in this episode. This is the last appearance of Captain Stacy and J. Jonah Jameson here.
Yeah.
In this show. And it's just, you know, and I think it's perfectly in character for them. Captain Stacy's like, damn, Spider-Man really killed it this time. He kind of nailed it, didn't he? He's proud of his boy. And Jameson's like, I hate everything. And he has this conspiracy theory. I just think it's useful because it's like their final lines. And I think it speaks to their characters that, like, you know, he's like, they're all working together. And George Stacy's like, working together, Jonah, to what end? Why would they be working together? And Jameson's just like, his response is, to raise my blood pressure, he says as he storms off. Pitch perfect for both of their characters.
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson is being very J. Jonah. I mean, they're both being very themselves, but J. Jonah Jameson is like funnier in this moment because he usually is sort of a funny guy. I love Clancy Brown's delivery of "to what end." He sounds so exhausted with J. Jonah Jameson.
You know that he hears this all the time from him.
It's such a good line delivery. I love it so much.
Yes. By our like white-haired spectacular Spider-Man dads, I'll miss ya.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we close out with Hobie.
If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding than a dream, else the Puckalaya call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Goblin shall restore amends.
Yeah, so there's only one scene in Act 5 of Midsummer Night's Dream, and the majority of it is just the very famous monologue that Putt gives. You know, the if we shadows have offended, think but this, all is mended, stuff, blah, 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 blah. You've heard it before and stuff. They skip a whole chunk of it. The main thing is like, they do actually have the actual final lines of the show. The end of the monologue, give me your hands if we be friends, and Goblin shall restore amends. Line is originally Robin, referring to his real name, Robin Goodfellow, of course. And they replace it with Goblin. Either Hobie flubbed the line or Mr. Devereaux thought it would be an interesting change. But either way, it gets us our one last Goblin reference from our on-stage Goblin and our last line from Hobie in this episode.
Yep. Whew.
What an episode.
What an episode.
What a face. What a face of the episode.
I mean, I forgot so much of this final arc, but I fully forgot that. I mean, one, I forgot that he was an android, if you all couldn't tell a few weeks ago. But I
wasn't sure either. I couldn't really remember either, honestly.
Because it's like not that big a deal. But I
Yeah.
completely forgot about this and how it looks and how he, like, how his disguise changes. It's bizarre and cool.
Yeah, because it's like, so there's like the Quentin Beck thing, and it's not like a hologram or whatever. It's like the outer shell or whatever you want to call it is made up of a bunch of like panels that then separate and like flip over and like form the Magneto, or not Magneto, the other guy, Mysterio, form the Mysterio shell over him. But the face of the episode that I caught is the sort of in between. So when the panels are off, there's sort of like this like robot endoskeleton on the inside.
It looks
that's
fucking
just sort of
sick.
like, it's really sick because it's not like a Terminator endoskeleton. It's not like a skeleton. There's like a skeletal musculoskeletal aspect, I guess, to like the torso area that you see, like where the neck like looks like collarbones and stuff like that, right? But it's all steel. But the face is just this fully blank steel face, almost like the look of the Chameleon's face in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Where it's just like fully empty and featureless. It has no nose, no mouth, no, there's like holes that are kind of ear-ish, but they're not ears. No hair, fully bald.
Yeah.
What he does have, for some reason, are two giant, perfectly circular googly eyes. And I don't know why. I don't know why they needed to be there.
Because the eyes are the one thing. Well, no, I don't know. I don't either. Because they got to be circles to move, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. It's really,
but I like
but
it.
he has a
Whatever the
mouth when
reason,
he's
I
Quentin.
like
He has a mouth when he's Quentin
Yeah,
Beck.
how the fuck does he have a mouth?
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, but I
What
love
is
this. I
technology?
want
the eyes are so funny.
I want the shell gone. I want this guy to just walk around like,
right.
The endoskeleton, sort of muscle, sort of skeleton thing.
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
such a wildly like well-designed thing for something you see for half a second.
It's really cool. I love it. Yeah. No, this episode's great.
It rules.
It's upsetting that it's the penultimate episode. A couple of other things I forgot to mention that I think is worth mentioning is it's like the last time you see, the homunculi gargoyles in this, and the last line you get is the gargoyle as it's dying says non sequitur, non sequitur.
So
fucking
funny.
incredible. It's so funny. It's so funny. I also love that the episode ends with like Ren Fair music because, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Of course. Yep.
They're like, yeah, I love that too.
Very
like
good.
the credits, I should say the credits music is Ren Fair music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It's like sad how many characters depart in like not intentionally, that wasn't meant to be the end.
But just that we don't see ever again.
Characters we never see ever again are in this episode, and it's like really sad.
Mhm.
But God, what a fucking banger penultimate episode, man!
Yeah.
Like, it is like it is nice that like we get to see so many characters in this one before, because the finale is pretty contained.
Yep.
So it's nice that we get one last look at so many characters in this one.
Yeah. It's wild how many people they fit into this episode, and it's wild to think of all the people that still weren't here, right? Like Sandman exited this show a long time ago.
Yeah, Doc Ock's already exited.
Yeah, Eddie's gone.
Yeah, Eddie's gone. Tombstone's out.
Mhm. And yet there's still like tons of characters in this penultimate episode.
Yeah,
The show's massive.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, we're almost done. We only have one more. That makes me really sad.
I know. I don't want to be done.
I've really enjoyed redoing these again. But
yeah,
we'll get to that.
Mhm.
Well, we're never done on our Patreon because we're always slaving away there for you people who pay us money. For as little as $1 a month, you can get bonus episodes at patreon.com/wallopingwebsnappers. So I don't know what we have going on right now. We got something going on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We've got episodes we plan to do.
Yeah.
So check us out there. Check out our Discord as well. We got a link to that in the show notes if you want to chat with us. But Doug, if people want to find you and everything you're doing, where's the best place to do it?
You can find me all over the place at Ikkybooley, ICKYBOOLEY. You can also listen to me on a show called Novel Gaming, where my friend Katie and I catch up on all the books, video games, and sometimes other media we've been enjoying lately. And speaking of novel gaming, we recently did a crossover episode with Distant Echoes where we talked about a Star Wars book. We had a bonus book club crossover episode about Star Wars Ronin, a Visions novel, which is a very cool book you should check out if you like Star Wars. What about you, Derek?
Sure, you can find me most places at Derek B. Gale. My other podcasts include Lee Carvalho's Potting Challenge, where we look at Simpsons tie-in video games. I think our most recent episode still would be Simpsons Skateboarding, which is really, really, really fun one to do. And also Gimmicks, where we look at high concept and experimental and structure breaking episodes of television. We would have just had our episode on the Sarah Connor Chronicles come out last week. And I think tomorrow we'll have like a little bonus episode on some weird installments of late night television.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really fun bonus one that we did. I don't think I plugged this on our podcast yet as well, but I recently did another article for Popeyes. It's called Mannequin is Even Gayer Than You Thought, about the 1987 film Mannequin and how it's gayer than you thought. So if you like queer readings of movies, check that out at Popeyes.com.
It's good. If you like queer readings of movies, and if you want to find other queer creators who talk about media, sometimes doing queer readings of movies, check out the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective at glitterjaw.com. That includes a monthly movie podcast that Derek and I do together called Screonk, a Godzilla movie marathon, where we are stomping through Godzilla's filmography. Our 3-week run on the anime trilogy begins with 2017's Godzilla Planet of the Monsters on the 13th.
Oh boy. Can't wait. We also have another podcast that Doug and I have done together, Falling with Style. That was previously a monthly movie podcast where we looked at Pixar films, but since then we have done forays into other animation and related topics like DreamWorks movies as well. So definitely check out our Falling with Style feed.
Visit us on our website at wallopingwebsnappers.com and follow Walloping Web Snappers on Blue Sky and Instagram at wallopingwebpod, or you can email us. Maybe you want to email us some Devereaux and Aaron Warren fan art, fanfic, whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah,
we're fine.
We'll take it.
Rated whatever you want it to be.
Send that along to wallopingwebsnapperspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and please rate, review, and subscribe to us on all your podcast platforms. Next week, we're concluding a revisit of the Spectacular Spider-Man with the very final episode, final curtain.
See you then.
Bye.